action.
There's fire.
Fire?
Yeah.
What?
Ready, aim, fire.
I said, oh, okay.
Oh.
That confused me. It was just out of nowhere because I said action and you said fire.
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
You fired it up.
Are you already drunk?
Yeah, one sip.
One sip and she's drunk. She is
Ready to
drinking
go.
a Corona with a lime. You're drinking it only because you need to get rid of it, aren't you?
Yeah.
I know, but that's been sitting there for a while.
Oh, I bought more.
Oh, you bought more?
Yeah, so I'm drinking the last one of the other one and then I'm
Replenishing.
It's because I didn't have limes. I only drink them with limes. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm the same way.
Yeah.
Corona without a lime is just piss.
Mm-hmm. So that's why I haven't drank it, because I was waiting to buy a lime again.
Mm-hmm. I am not having a drink. I have acid reflux. I've had it for like 2 days now, so probably don't want to anger it anymore.
Yeah, why not?
Luckily, it's not too bad. I just really feel it when I take a deep breath.
Oh, yeah.
It feels like fullness in your chest. It's not like a burning sensation right now, luckily. I need to turn the brightness on my computer. There we go. So we finally, I think, troubleshot the microphone situation. I have a loud voice, so it is literally in front of you.
Yeah.
So, how was your week? It's been a week. Okay.
Gestures over the
Yeah,
the microphone.
She shrugged.
You can totally see that. It's okay.
Okay. Nothing eventful happened.
No, my boyfriend left. But...
He got deployed. He didn't just leave.
Yeah. So.
He's a military man. He had to leave.
Other than that.
Luckily, he's not gone for super long.
Yeah.
Not like 3 months, 4 months. Oh my God, there's so much cat hair on the bottom of that.
Yeah,
it's because the cats like to roam on this little island thing. Yeah. Technically, it's a peninsula. It's not a. It's not an island.
It's unattached.
Yeah, it's attached. So I remember we had that argument when we first moved in. We were like, we have an island. I'm like, technically it's a peninsula. And you're like, it's an island. I'm like, it's a peninsula.
I think technically it would probably be like a breakfast bar. Because it's attached and it's in the kitchen. But,
Aren't they really called breakfast bars?
Yeah.
I never heard of that.
Yeah.
Look. Those are your wavelengths. Even in front of the microphone.
Why do you talk so loud?
I just have a natural projecting voice.
I do not.
I do not. I think it's just I'm fucking loud for no apparent reason.
Yeah.
Just loud. One of my friends I'm talking to, friends. He actually said we were talking today and he brought up like horror movies. What kind of horror movies I brought up? I brought up Barbarian. He really likes Barbarian. I'm like, oh, we have a podcast episode.
Do I know this person?
No.
Oh.
I was gonna say it, but I'll write it down. I don't have a pen.
Here.
Oh, do you have a pen?
Mm-hmm.
I'll write it down.
Beautiful name.
Yeah. No, that's not his name.
I know, I'm joking.
Oh, I gotcha.
Because they don't know what you wrote.
Oh, yeah, that is his name, actually. Yeah. Very interesting name. Yeah. But, yeah, we talked about that. And, yeah, it was really interesting because I don't think I've ever met somebody who knows that movie. But I also don't think I've ever talked about it.
Yeah.
Because I've never seen it before.
It did well in theaters.
I would imagine it's... We're not talking about Barbarian, by the way. My week was fine. Thanks for asking.
Barbarian Part 2? Just kidding.
My week was okay. I had a pretty chill... I feel like something... Oh, I started my semester again. I'm taking Fundamentals of Qualitative Studies or Methods. I think it's Studies, actually. But I wrote Methods on my notes. Where it's basically just basics of psychological statistics and everything. They definitely heard that.
Excuse me.
But
it's the beer.
So I'm doing statistics now, which actually I'm not thinking about it and thinking about my undergraduate, I think I was okay with the statistics because it wasn't too difficult because SPSS does it all, really. Mm-hmm. And you just have to interpret what it's saying. While, yes, I know podcast record. I put it in my schedule, in my calendar to remind me when I need to record and when I need to edit. And then when I need to post. But it was research methods I fucking hated. I hated research methods, which is my next class in this semester. My next quarter, technically. Because how ASU does their online is you're technically a full student because you have 3 semesters. You have spring, summer, and fall. And so you have those 3, but you have technically quarters too. So this class is 1 quarter and the second class is the second quarter. So it breaks it up, but it looks like you're still full-time. I have to pay my bill for that. I got to pay that soon. That's due on the 19th. I'll do that after this. But so on paper, I'm a full-time student, but technically I'm taking 1 class. But research methods I fucking hated. I think that's the stuff I hated. And I hated how our stats was like our homework for it because it was just so tedious. Took a long time to do, but I understood it because now I like already doing, because this is week 1 reading. I'm like, oh, I remember all of this, like validity, and I mean the center of I can't remember what it's called, but the center is like mean, median, mode, the shit you learn in elementary school. Yeah. So far I'm doing great. But yeah, that's basically my week. It's been pretty chill. Work has been so fucking slow for me. Monday was busy kind of while I was not gonna say anything. And then today and yesterday were just insanely slow compared to normal. Like, I think I only got so in a normal day, I get about 40 to 50 calls. Mm-hmm. Maybe 30 on the slow side. Today, I think I only got 25 calls and voicemails total. So, really weird, but I just kicked the empty cat litter. Sorry. But today, we're going to talk about one of my favorite romance movies. Called Love, Rosie. I don't know if it's a British movie, actually, because both of them are British. But there's also in America, so it could be British. I don't know. You didn't do any research, did you? So we don't know. But it's Lily Collins, and who plays Finnick?
I don't know his actor name. He's just Finnick to me.
Hold on.
I've never looked his name up, ever.
I'll look it up.
He's Finnick. That's all I need to know.
Finnick. Finnick O'Dare.
Justice for Finnick. And that's not what we're talking about here, but...
Sam Claflin.
Well, he has a name that does not roll off the tongue.
Claflin. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does. Claflin.
I like how I've known him
Sam Claflin.
As an actor for over 10 years and have never heard his name ever.
I know him in other movies. Of course I know him in Finnick. He's also in Finnick in the Hunger Games. Then there's him in Me Before You, which I also really like. That's one of my other favorite romance movies. He's in Love, Rosie. He's in, I think it's called Adrift with Shailene Woodley, about the true life story of 2 people being stranded on a ship and having to survive. And he's a sailor and he gets injured. Not really a spoiler. It happens at the beginning. He gets injured, so his girlfriend who knows nothing really about sailing, just like the basics, has to basically learn how to do it properly and everything. It's a really good movie. It's super boring in some places. The ending is really interesting. I like the ending. But Love, Rosie is one of my favorite movies. I will take the reins into the what the movie is about. So Love, Rosie, there's Rosie, and then there's Alex. I always forget his name, but it's Alex. Finnick. So
wait, we watched a movie last week that had Rue, and a movie this week that has Finnick.
Oh, there's a Hunger Games thing. Next time we have to watch another movie with We could find someone with PETA. What's his actor's name? Josh Hutcherson.
Yeah.
We could find something with that he's in.
Zathora.
Oh, Zathura. I thought you said Sephora, and I went, what? Zathura. That's a good movie.
It's a good movie.
We can figure something out about that one. We should add that to the list. But
Bridge to Terabithia.
oh, that's a good psychological one about grief.
Traumatizing.
Yeah.
There we go.
Sad. But so the basic plot is it's Rosie and Alex have been friends since grade 5, 5th grade, I believe. They've been childhood friends basically growing up, and it opens with Rosie's 18th birthday. Well, first it opens with Rosie in a dress, and it's a wedding.
Sorry, I'm thinking really hard about if he is in Bridge to Terabithia.
Who?
Josh Hutcherson.
Yeah, he is.
I was gonna say, am I just like
No,
making that
he's
up?
in Bridge and Terabithia.
Oh, okay, sorry.
But,
I had to think that there for a moment.
Okay. Rosie, so it opens with Rosie at a wedding in a dress, and she's kind of spacing off, so you're like, what the fuck's going on? And so then it smash cuts to her 18th birthday, which was, I don't remember the time frame, but it goes back in time a while.
2000s time.
Yeah, it goes back in time a good amount, maybe 12 years. It's 12 years because
bumping Crazy in Love, son.
Yeah, it was 12 years. So flashbacks to 12 years on her 18th birthday, and her and Alex are celebrating, drinking a lot. They end up kissing, and she falls off the stool, and then it's the next morning. Find out that she got her stomach pumped, and she doesn't remember. She got her stomach pumped for sure. And she can't remember what happened at the night, but she is saying like, oh, don't say anything. I'm so embarrassed. So Alex doesn't know that she doesn't remember anything. He just thinks that she does remember, and she just wants to erase the kiss and everything. So he obliges. Next scene, they're planning on going to like their equivalent of a prom. It's a school dance, prom together, but then they end up asking, Rosie ends up asking a hot guy named Greg, a meathead, I would like to say. Greg.
We have 2 Gregs in a row, too.
Yeah, and then...
we did not do this on purpose.
Alex asks out a hot girl named Bethany, loses his virginity to Bethany, and they end up going to prom with their dates and everything, and you can tell that Rosie's a little jealous of Alex and Bethany, so she ends up getting a hotel room with Greg. They have the most unsatisfying sex. It lasts literally 2 pumps, and then he's done. And the condom that they had slips off and is inside of Rosie. So they go to her and Alex go to the ED, get that removed. She takes the morning after pill. And they make plans of wanting to go to Boston, where Alex goes to Harvard Medical, and she goes to Boston College, I believe, for hotel management. Hospitability. I can't say that word, but they both end up getting accepted, and Rosie gets accepted first into Boston College, and she goes over. And she throws up, she hears Alex and Bethany having sex upstairs at Alex's house. She ends up throwing up in her purse. And so afterwards, she goes to an apothecary. I think that's what they call it there, an apothecary, where they sell drugs and everything. So she's saying like...
pharmaceuticals.
Yeah. And so she's saying all of her symptoms, and the cashier, the person there, was like, well, did you miss a period? And she's like, oh, fuck, I did. So she ends up taking a pregnancy test. She finds out she's actually pregnant. She decides that she wants to give the child up for adoption and then resume her life and go back to Boston.
And not tell Alex.
Alex leaves. He gets accepted into Harvard, full scholarship. So he leaves to Boston. And she pushes off telling him because she's just going to give birth to the baby and give it up for adoption. She grows attached to the baby, names her Katie on accident, and gives birth and decides to keep Katie and stay in England. I don't know where they live, actually, but they stay in England, her and the baby.
Probably some smaller city.
I have no idea. But they kind of grow separate from each other. She runs into Bethany in the streets and is trying to play off like the baby isn't hers. She's nursing, she's nannying as a job. Bethany tells Alex, so Alex shows up and he finds out that she has the baby and wants to be the godfather and everything. And so they become close again, sending each other gifts, cards, Christmas cards, everything. Alex is dating someone. Fuck, what's her name? Sally. So it's dating a girl named Sally who seems really sweet at first.
Every time he said her name, though, it sounded like he was saying, Sully! To me. His accent kind of turned the A into U.
Gotcha. I did not notice that. But relationship is good. 5 years kind of go by. And Rosie ends up going to visit Alex in Boston and finds out Sally is pregnant. Well, they're out all night partying and everything. Come back and find out Sally's pregnant. So Rosie's already pissed off. Did I just unhook? I did just unhook my piercing.
Watch it happen in real time.
So I'm gonna try and talk while hooking my. Oh, there we go. Luckily, it's just a pop. My nose hoop buckled, so I had to buckle it back in. Let's push that inside. They're arguing. She's upset because she's like, "You just brought me out here to forget about your reality and everything," and he decides to go to 100 and be like, "Well, I have a stable job, a home, a girlfriend with a baby on the way who will have two parents instead of one." Because Greg left the country once he found out. He
went to Ibiza.
Yeah. He left the. Yep. Stop it. He left the country once Rosie found out that she was pregnant. Left the country, so she's a single parent basically. So insults her, so she leaves, and they lose contact again. Because of that comment, she writes a letter to Greg, not really thinking that he will actually show up. He shows up, and she was not happy, didn't want Greg back in her life, but she was like, well, this is about Katie, so I will let you come into Katie's life, but you need to be like on your A game with her. You mess up once, you're out. And so Greg and Rosie get really, really close. They, in quotations, fall in love. End up getting married.
Within 6 months.
Within 6 months, they end up getting married. On their wedding day, Alex leaves Sally. And come to find out, Sally was pregnant with a different man's baby. So Alex was like, well, it's okay. I didn't think I was ready to be a dad anyways. And it pans, and it's a nursery for the baby. That was the most heartbreaking part of the whole movie. Besides the dad. That was sad. Find out that, Rosie's dad and mom end up going on backpacking trip that dad has always wanted to do. And that was kind of his like wisdom, is he was always like, follow your dreams, do what you want to do, because Rosie wanted to open up a hotel and thought it was crazy. And dad was like very encouraging and loving towards her. You know what that means in movie terms? He dies. Yep, he dies and finds out. Rosie finds out. Alex comes to the funeral, and Greg is fucked. He's like peacocking, basically.
Yeah.
Laughing and saying, well, this is hard for me and us too, and all that. And Alex is like, well, yeah, well, Rosie's having the time of her life, crying and everything. So when Alex leaves, he writes Rosie a confession letter, mails it to her, and basically saying Greg isn't for you. You should be with me. Let me know. And sent it to Rosie. Greg finds it, hides it away from Rosie.
Fucking Greg, man.
But Rosie ends up getting a letter that was sent from her dad before he passed away. She's reading it. Well, he was like, oh, you shouldn't read that. And she's like, what? I have to read it. It's my dad. And he was like, well, you're just going to be upset. And she's like, I'm already upset. And he was like, well, do you want me to stay? And doesn't look like he really wants to. And she's like, funny enough, no, I don't want you to stay. So that kind of shows the dynamics. Oh, I kind of missed it. Katie is 12 now, roughly 12, maybe 11. And she has a guy best friend too. You know what that means. But, so, where did the letter. Greg hides the letter, locks it in a desk drawer. So she never finds out until she finds out that the hotel that Rosie and Greg had sex for the first time, the most phenomenal sex everyone has ever had, finds out that hotel, by the way, Rosie and that apothecary chick are best friends and they're working at a hotel now. They find out that the hotel they made Katie, basically, is now part of the hotel's management. It was combined into it. So they find out that Greg's booked a hotel, a honeymoon suite in that hotel. So she's like, oh my God, for our anniversary, he's taking me to the place that we made Katie. And thought it was super romantic. Found out that he was like, oh, I'm on a business trip. I'll have to stay here a couple days. So they find out that he's cheating. They drive there, punch the living shit out of him. And then the friend throws condoms on him, being like, wrap it up next time. Don't make another one. Stop it. And so while in her rage of throwing shit out, she finds the letter that Greg hid that Alex wrote confessing. I missed. Alex emails her saying, this was before she finds out about the cheating. Alex emails her saying, you haven't reached out. I just want to make sure, are you happy? And she, not knowing anything about the letter, was like, I don't know much about what I have, but it's my family and it's working. So he gives up. While finding this letter, reading it, she's like, oh, I have a chance with Alex now. So she messages Alex. They get onto a Skype call. Found out it's fucking Bethany.
And she told Bethany to go.
Oh, yeah. When she was happy with Greg, she ran into Bethany. And Bethany was talking about, she's a model now, talking about going to Boston. And Rosie mentioned, oh, Alex lives in Boston. You should see him. It would be nice to have a friendly face, because he was going through the breakup with Sally and finding out the baby wasn't his and everything. So find out that it's Bethany who was on Alex's computer and they're engaged now. So fast.
Rosie,
and they asked,
why would you send?
Yeah.
I know to have a friendly face, but
and she wasn't interested in Alex anymore at that point because she had Greg. And then she finds out they're engaged and they asked her to be Alex's best man. And she accepts. Her friend is like, well, he's still technically available in quotation marks until he makes it official and marries her. So you got a chance. So you got to go. So they rush there. They get delayed. So they're very late to the wedding. And when they approach, they're already married. They're coming out of the hall and everything, the church. And so it goes back to where it was at the beginning. So you're thinking it's the end, where Rosie makes this huge speech for the bride and groom. And it sounds so much like a confession speech because it is. Mm-hmm. But she pulls it off by saying, I love you no matter who you are or who you're with. I will love you utterly and completely. And everyone's quiet and staring at her. And she's like a brother, like a sister loves a brother. And it was so awkward. But so at the reception, Toby is Katie's best friend, guy best friend. He ends up kissing her and runs off and goes to the fucking roof of the hotel or wherever they are at, the roof. And she's freaking out, being like, he kissed me. This is going to ruin our friendship. That's like if, and Rosie and Alex follow her. This is like if you two kiss, it's weird. Blah, blah, blah. And she's like, well, you guys never kissed, have you? Oh, and Alex made this huge speech being like, well, if you deny him now, he's going to go out there and try and find the most beautiful, perfect girl, but will always think about you. Basically saying that's what he is like with Rosie. And Katie asks if they've ever kissed. Rosie says no. And Alex then realizes, oh, she doesn't remember her 18th birthday. Tells her about it. Katie goes and kisses Toby, so now they're a thing. They're doing it better than those two did. So Rosie goes back to England and buys a place with a share from her dad's house, basically, because it went to her when he died. And renovated this huge house thing into a hotel. And come to find out, Alex shows up. He basically says him and Bethany divorced, and they end up finally getting together. That's basically it. And there's a funny thing with the first guest who checks in. He was the guy in the elevator who's he was the guy in the elevator when Rosie was talking to Alex about how a condom got stuck in her and she is unable to locate it. And you find out the guy who's the first guest of the hotel 12 years later, or maybe like 13 years later, is the same guy from that night. And it was just a really funny connection and everything. But one of my favorite romance movies, it's like Edging. When are they going to get together? You're almost there. Almost there. And it's not. It's true. It's true. You're like, they're going to do it. They're going to kiss. And then they don't. And then, oh, they're going to do it. Oh, they didn't get a relationship. It's the same thing. Except, obviously not sex. Well, not really sex. But you know what I mean. Mom, don't listen to this. I didn't make sure she doesn't. I don't think she listens to this anyways. But, very good. Very good movie. Also, this is episode 6. I never said that. Yes, I wrote it down.
Oh, okay. I was
episode
like, I
6.
can't remember anymore.
I'm writing them down now, so I remember. I never mentioned that. But yeah, one of my favorite romance movies. But, what should we talk first? There's a basic synopsis. One of the topics I really, really wanted to talk about was opposite sex friends.
Mm-hmm.
Can it work? Will it work? How does it work?
How?
Well, yeah, because there's this underlying, not only in media, but it happens in real life, where opposite sex friends have feelings for each other.
Yeah.
And either date and then break up, or do I have an experience with that?
I was going to say, you know that.
My best friend, Luciano, we were friends, and then we dated the end of senior year into a couple months into our freshman year of college. We dated, but then we broke up, and then now we're still best friends. And now we only see each other as best friends. He has a wonderful girlfriend. I love his girlfriend. Awesome girlfriend. But the biggest thing with my experience of having an opposite sex friend is boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
I think setting boundaries with me and Luciano is a lot easier because we don't have. I mean, I had a partner and he has a partner. So having those boundaries set for each other, being like, don't be touchy, because I'm a touchy person with my friends. I touch, I hug,
Mm-hmm.
I lean on them. With Luciano, I'm never like that anymore because he has a girlfriend. So I know that is a boundary that if somebody on the outside was looking in, they would think we would be together. Mm-hmm. But on top of that, it would make her uncomfortable. Even if it didn't make her uncomfortable, it would make me uncomfortable. because it looks wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So that's always a good place to set up. And also just honestly not being attracted to them sexually, physically. You can be attracted to them personality-wise because they're your friend, but not attractive in a, I want to date that person. And a lot of times, like my ex-boyfriend, he had 2 very close girl space friends. And I never felt jealous of the fact because they never overstepped. He never overstepped his relationship with them, and they never overstepped our relationship, if that makes sense. Like, how I saw them interact is how I interact with you.
Mm-hmm.
Except we make a lot of more sex jokes to each other.
Yeah.
But how I interact with Luciano, basically. Being there for each other, being a shoulder to cry on when we need it. Having opposite sex friends, so good for opposite sex advice.
Mm-hmm.
Being like, am I going crazy or is this a dude thing?
Mm-hmm.
Is this a gendered perspective? I don't know. Mm-hmm. So it's always nice to have that to fall back on. And having somebody like that. But yeah, the biggest thing is communication and not overstepping people's boundaries. Have you ever had an opposite sex friend?
Yeah, I've had.
But that was more in elementary school where you're friends with everyone.
Good friend in 6th grade who I also had a crush on. So, and then I had a really good friend in elementary school who was a boy who I also had a crush on. But other than that, I've never really had a close guy friend.
I would say it's a basic name, Caleb from work. It's not super close, but like you're friends. Mm-hmm. If he was like, do you want to hang out? You'd be like, yeah, let's hang out.
Yeah.
If he said, hey, do you want to go to like hang out and get a coffee? I haven't seen you in a while. Let's talk. You'd be like, yeah. You wouldn't? You don't like him that way?
No, like he's cool, but like I only ever talk to him when we're out as a group. I never talk to him outside of that. So like,
what about Charlie?
Charlie, yeah, but also
he's gay.
He's gay. I don't know. I've never really had close friendships with guys because I've never been able to really relate to them and become friends with them. So I don't have any huge experience with that because both of my guy friends I had crushes on. Mm-hmm. But I think I had crushes on them before they became my friends. Like, looking back, I was like, oh, in elementary school, it's kind of a...
It's a child love.
I was like, yeah, he's cute. I like him. Mm-hmm. And then in 6th grade, I was like, maybe I didn't like him at first, but like I instantly like had a connection with him, and then I started like liking him like right at the beginning of our...
Well, the question is, do you think opposite sex friends can work? In your personal
belief. So. I mean, it's interesting because you do see that a lot in media, but like...
They always end up loving each other. Yeah, they
always end up loving each other. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, I think you can still... Oh my god, I probably put lime in my eye.
She's rubbing her eye a lot.
Because I feel like out of the like entire population of people, there are most likely there's guy and girlfriends who never seen each other in that way.
Yeah. And like for me and Luciano's relationship, I think it was, now looking on of it, and I bet if I asked him, he would feel the same way. We mixed up platonic with romantic. Mm-hmm. We thought we romantically liked each other. But when we were in a relationship, it was good. It was nice, but it was like a friendship.
Yeah.
And we kissed sometimes.
The attraction, like,
wasn't. So it didn't feel like romance. Mm-hmm. Like we would do romantic things with each other, but it felt like we were friends.
Like you're just hanging out with
I was just hanging out with a friend. And so I think we mixed those feelings up because I know for a fact if I would have asked him, did you feel the same way oh no, how do I phrase this? If I asked him now, if in our relationship when we were a couple, do you feel the same way you do now with your relationship, with your partner now? And I know for a fact he would say no because he loves her. He liked me. Mm-hmm. So I think there was a mix up. And that's why when we ended things, we were still very, very close friends because it went back to being the same, except we just didn't hold hands or kiss. It felt exactly the same.
It reminds me of going back to my favorite show, The Vampire Diaries. Oh, jeez. Well, Elena says, like, with Matt, who is, like, her best friend, and they were best friends growing up, they're like, you know that one friend who you're best friends with and you just date to see?
Like, see if it, like, would it? I feel like it just feels weird in some cases, but in other cases, yes, it is your person. While, for us, it wasn't right.
Yeah.
And also just the stress of dating a friend because you're so already connected to them. If you date them and you guys break up, are you guys still going to be friends? Mm-hmm. And luckily, me and Luciano's friendship was really, really strong. So when we broke up, it was fine. But it's always that question of, will this ruin the friendship? And in cases when I think about it, if somebody is struggling with that, I had nobody come up to me and ask me about it. If it's like that, I always ask, is it worth it? Is dating this person worth possibly ruining that friendship? Because if it's not worth it, then I would say, find somebody else.
Yeah.
Stuff that shit down. Find the worst flaws in them to make you not like them anymore. And then find somebody else.
Not friend.
Yeah, romantically. Something you know you can't live with and marry and have children with if you want to have children. Like that kind of stuff. But if you think it's worth it, if it's like not a best friend and it's just like an acquaintance or just somebody you are friendly with, then yeah, hell yeah, you're not losing anything. With a best friend, it can be tough. And with Rosie and Alex, I think that yes, they were best friends, but no matter what happened, they were still there for each other.
Yeah.
Like because Alex and Rosie weren't talking when Alex broke up with Sally and found out that Sally's baby wasn't his. So they weren't talking, but as soon as she found out, she contacted Alex and was like, I'm so sorry, I did not know what was going on. And then they became close again. So that's a big thing with best friends. Even if you grow apart, if somebody is struggling, like, unless there wasn't a big blow up. Because if there was a big blow up, then yeah, there's no contact after that, most likely. But if you like just grew apart, but you found out something bad happened to them, whether it was mentally, physically, anything, I feel like most best friends would still reach out no matter gender, sex, or anything. Because I know for a fact I've had that happen. My my elementary school best friend, her name was Mercedes. Fun fact, she was my first ever crush. Ever. Didn't know that until I was like 20, and I'm like, oh, I think she was my first crush. So, but Mercedes, we grew apart because she moved, I think 5th or 6th grade. So I haven't contacted her since 5th or 6th grade. I know for a fact if something happened to her, either good or bad, I would message her right away. I'm Facebook friends with her still. And so, not still, I added her when I was like 17. So, since I was 17. So, but like when she got married and had a baby, like I messaged her and I said, congrats, like that's so much fun, that's so cool. And everything. So I know if like something happened to her, I would reach out and make sure she's okay. Just like, God forbid, if we grew apart from each other somehow, I feel like we would still be there for each other if something was going down.
Yeah.
Fun fact, my mom and her best friend have not lived in the same state for like 15 years, and they're still best friends. They talk every day. I'm like, you're insane. How do you do that? Like, they text every single day, and they, like, travel and see each other. Mm-hmm. And they technically kind of have matching tattoos, but they're also for their partners, because it's a 4-leaf clover, which is fucking hilarious, because Jeff isn't Irish anymore. He found out he's actually Mexican, because he thought he was Black Irish, so she got an Irish tattoo, a shamrock tattoo, being like, this is for Jeff, but also it's matching Jamie. Find out Jeff is actually Mexican and not Black Irish.
You know, now it matches Jamie.
I know it's just Jamie, because I think Jamie's Irish. And so, quite funny. Has a nice little funny story. But Jamie's husband is Irish. And so I think she also has a 4-leaf clover for him and for my mom, even though she's not Irish. So, but best friends can last you a long time, even though they're same sex. Best friends can last you a long time. I've been best friends with Luciano since freshman year of high school. And Bree, I've been best friends with her since 7th grade, I think. And me and her don't talk as much as we used to because, you know, we're now in 2 different stages of life. Yeah. She's married and has a baby. I cry in my bed and I drink on weekends. I go out and party. So we're 2 different lives because, you know, she's a mom. She has to settle down, make sure the baby's okay. Obviously, she can still go out. We've been out once to a gay bar. We went to Max. That was fun. And everything. But, like, we have those little moments where we're back together and everything. We hang out sometimes. I see the baby. She's a cutie. She's so cute. But so even though you're in 2 stages of your life, you can still make it work. We still talk every single day. This hair is annoying me. There we go.
What if it wasn't annoying me?
You wouldn't have noticed it, but I do. I directly see it. But what does your boyfriend have a female best friend?
Sort of. Not really a best friend, but he has a really good friend who's a girl, but she's gay. So
how would you feel then if DJ had a female best friend? Would you be okay with it?
Yeah, as long as, like you said, there are boundaries in place that didn't get crossed. Like, if she was, like, all touchy-feely, I'd be like, I don't really like that. Like, hug, you know, is okay, but if you're, like, always touchy, then I'm going to be like...
My biggest thing is the girls who... Because only really girls do this. This is the girl best friends who jump and hug. Because I used to do that. You can jump and hug. That's fine if you haven't seen them in a while. It's the girls that hook their legs around the guy's torso. That pisses me off. Yeah. No. That is a relationship thing. Don't do that. I get it if you jump and hug, because I've done that to one of my guy best friends, who actually also dated, Thomas. This was in middle school. We were best friends. And I was like you. I was interested in him at first, and then we became friends. Then we dated, and then we went back to friends. We would always, when I would see him, I would hug him like that, and he would have a girlfriend. And I was always like, is this uncomfortable to you? And she said, yeah, so I stopped. So, go. Can you knock it off?
You can just go under it. Like,
that one's breaking off. We're going to get charged. We're already charged on this.
Start getting in a job, okay? Get on that. Cats, man. They don't care about anything.
Yeah. But I think that was one of the biggest one with opposite sex friends. Because you just see it all the time in media of them wanting to be in relationships with each other. When that's not all the time. And there's this big stigma that that's always going to happen. And I mean, sometimes it does happen. And sometimes it doesn't. So I think it's just biggest thing is just boundaries. Just knowing that they know their fucking place.
Yeah.
Don't do, and also the partner who has the the opposite sex friend and the partner. And if the partner is upset with something that the best friend does, bringing it up, having an open discussion, being like, that makes me uncomfortable because that's something I do with him or her.
Yeah.
And I see it a lot more with guys being jealous of their girlfriends because they have guy best friends.
Yeah.
And it's only okay if they're gay. That's the only time that I see like men being really, really like approve the friendship.
It's like Greg, where he was like, "Get your hands off me, women."
Yeah, it's a talk. The point is, where is it toxic and when is it not toxic?
Mm-hmm.
Because like it makes the boyfriend uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But you're also telling them to cut it off with a best friend. So that can be deemed as toxic because you're telling them who they can and cannot be friends with. But also it's making them uncomfortable. Yeah. So that's when you talk to the best friend and be like, you know, this is making him uncomfortable. Let's tone it down on this end and everything. So it's kind of hard to balance.
Yeah.
And everything. But you don't really see that with, at least I've never met a girl be super uncomfortable with a guy having a really close girlfriend. Unless she's blatantly trying to get with him.
Yeah.
Then I see that sometimes. But a lot of the time, girls are pretty chill. And girls actually, I think, like it when their boyfriend or partner has an opposite sex friend. Because, like I said, they've been around women then. Mm-hmm. They know how they think.
Yeah.
Or they know that they're going to go to that friend, hopefully, when there's an issue and ask for advice on a female perspective, rather than their guy friends who will not really understand what a woman's perspective is. I remember reading this Reddit story. It has to do with opposite sex friends. And the OP was a guy, and he had a girlfriend, and his best friend was a girl, and this girl was an influencer. She was a model, so she was apparently objectively, that's quotation marks, objectively pretty. Mm-hmm. And so in this whole thing, he's complimenting his girl best friend, and then when comparing his girlfriend, he's like, she's kind of chubby, she has acne, she's kind of quiet, kind of like insulting. He didn't say one nice thing about her, basically. Oh. And so she asked, do you think your girl best friend is more attractive than me? And he said, yes. And I went, see, that's the issue.
Oh my God.
And he was like, well, do you want me to lie to you instead? Because she got upset. Do you want me to lie to you? And he told the girl best friend what happened. She got pissed at him, not the girlfriend, at him, being like, you fucked up. You're not supposed to say that. Even if it's a fucking lie, you never say that. It's like, do I look fat in this? You always say no. It doesn't matter what they're wearing. You always say no.
Yeah. Little white lie will not hurt.
Yeah, like that. And I was like, and even so, attractiveness doesn't always equal physical.
Yeah, like, we talked about that last week.
He was like, I find her really attractive personality-wise, but not physically. I'm like, well, you don't think she's pretty, yes. That's fucking horrible. But you find her attractive then. Attractive and, beauty are two different things. Because beauty is more physical. Attractive is more all of it.
Yeah.
All of it in it. So, man, and he did not seem to get it until his girl best friend said something. And I was like, I don't understand. Like, obviously, she felt insecure. And so you shoved that insecurity back at her, being like, yeah, you're ugly compared to her. Like, owie. I bet she already knows that she doesn't think she's as beautiful as his best friend. But hearing that, I think that was an overstep then. Because then it sounds like he likes her more. Maybe wants to be with her. And I think he said he did have a crush on the girl best friend. But she was the one that didn't want to do anything. So
it's like, are you just pining for her then?
It sounds like
settling. Like,
and I'm like, at that point, if you're that attached to that girl best friend and wanting to be with them, honestly, cut it off. Either the girl best friend or him, you gotta cut her off. Because she doesn't want you, and you can only think of her like that. So cut it off. I endorse those relationships. If it's one-sided, you gotta lose the friendship, honestly. Because how do you get over somebody that you're absolutely in love with, but you're best friends with them?
Mm-hmm.
So you're around them a lot, you talk to them a lot. Like, how do you do that and separate it?
Yeah.
But, I mean, you can look at all their flaws, but maybe you love their flaws. Then you're like, get out! Just cut it off. That's why, like, I always promise myself, if I got into a... What was that?
A really weird honk.
If I got into a friendship with a guy and they like me and they won't get over it, yeah, I promised myself I would cut off that friendship. If I don't like them back.
Mm-hmm.
If I like them back, maybe. It depends on the friendship, how good our friendship is. If it's something that I can lose, then I'm like, yeah, I'll give it a try. But, I don't know how to end that thought.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a struggle, but my always answer is communication.
Yeah.
Just talk to your partner when you're upset with them over their best friends. And be honest and use I-feeling words. Don't blame the partner.
There's our therapist here.
Yeah, you got to use I-feeling words. I feel
Resident
upset.
therapist.
I'm not a therapist. That means I'm certified.
I think that leads into my thought. I'm so tired today. My thoughts don't work. I was thinking about the relationship between Rosie and Alex. I wish she would say more. Like, of course, then there wouldn't be a movie. But if she said more, like, I feel like this towards him, maybe it wouldn't have taken them so long to...
I think it was always together. Because it was at the wrong time. Because she did make a move on him when she went to Boston. She didn't make a move, but he denied her. So she's thinking he doesn't like me, but finds out that he has a pregnant girlfriend.
Yeah, but they could have, like, when she got jealous about the prom, she could have just, like, communicated that to him, but then there would be no movie, so.
Yeah.
But I was just
You also have to think about, like, 18.
Yeah.
They're 18.
I don't know, but I feel like a lot of their problems could have been solved by just communicating with each other.
Mm-hmm. In the real world, yeah.
Yeah. But
I understand them not doing it when they're 18 because they're young, they don't know how to communicate, they're scared, they don't know if it's going to ruin the friendship. Yeah. So they don't know how to think about it more logically, I think. And then when she made a move, he was dating someone.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, he was engaged. No, were they engaged? Yeah. No. Yes, because she said your pregnant fiance. They were engaged. And so, no, pregnant girlfriend. They weren't engaged. Oh my God, I can't remember. I'm mixing her and Bethany. They look the same. Except Sally's tall.
Mm-hmm.
She's a tall lady. So they were dating. Then when Alex made the move, the next move was the letter. Mm-hmm. She was already married to Greg.
Also, Greg's an asshole, so he's the...
Yeah, so but he made an effort, but Greg took it.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
He tried to communicate it. And then when Rosie, for the second time, tried to reach out, he was engaged with Bethany. And then finally at the end, because they're both single, they don't have anyone, they finally are able to have that communication. I think when you're in a relationship, you do not communicate that information. Mm-hmm. Because it'll hurt someone.
Yeah.
It'll just hurt someone. It would either hurt the best friend, it'll hurt the partner, or hurt the person in the middle. Like, it's going to hurt somebody. So most of the time, people don't say those things.
Yeah.
when somebody's with someone, whether relationship, engaged, married, whatever stage, because it'll just turn messy.
Yeah. Or maybe if they were honest with themselves, because I think a lot of the movie, they're just settling with people that aren't, like, they think they're good at the time, but then, like, they see all of these things that end up being wrong, and then they kind of stay until some catalyst happens, like the cheating, or, well, the cheating for both of them. Or both of them. They both got cheated on. Where, like, if they would have thought, like, oh, am I just... Because I think I remember that with Rosie. She was like, I'll give it a try with Greg, and they seemed like they were doing good, but then it kind of seemed like maybe she just was like, well, I think she said, I want to be, like, somebody.
I want to belong to somebody.
Yeah, so then it kind of seemed like she just kind of rushed into Greg because 6 months there, she was like, oh, finally, I'm having this good thing, but I don't think she was thinking about, like, I'm doing this because Alex is, like, not available anymore, and I want somebody.
Yeah. I think also a big reason for her was because for 5 years, she was a single mother.
Yeah.
And nobody wanted to date her because she was a single mother. So I think for her, having the father of the child be her partner was finally a family unit. Like, it was a family unit because it was her, Greg, and their child. So I think that's why she really wanted to try with Greg. Yeah. Because not only was it for her to want to belong, but it was for Katie because she finally got a dad. Because when she was growing up with the cop, she had sex with a cop, and Katie runs in because it's first day of school. And when he's leaving, she says, "Are you my daddy?" So I think there was, like, guilt in there. Being like, she doesn't have a dad and she wants a dad. So let me bring back her actual dad, her blood dad. Even though she told Alex, she reminds me of you more than Greg. So, and that was like a little bit of a hint, because she also says, but maybe that's because I just love her. Hinting that she does love him. But I think they were honest with each other because they did make honest gestures. Yeah. It was just things getting in the way.
Yeah. Well, see, my thing is, like, she could have said something at the prom instead of just being jealous and then going off and sleeping with Greg. Like, she could have been like, hey, at that time, like, let's just go together instead. Like, because that was the original plan, right? And then...
I don't think she realized that she really liked him because she doesn't remember the kiss. She doesn't remember having that intimate moment with him.
Yeah. She seemed jealous though, like on more than like a friend level.
I think from the perspective of me, because I had those tendencies, I was jealous of Luciano being with other girls. I didn't know if it was because I loved him or because he was my best friend and I was scared of losing him to another person. So maybe she was mixing those two up, being like, is this just a friend feeling or is this a relationship feeling? Like a romantic feeling. So maybe that's why she wanted to have sex with Greg, to get her mind off of it being like, it's probably not romantic. I think I'm just jealous because I'm scared of sharing him. Which is a normal feeling you have as an opposite sex partner. Yeah. Opposite sex friend. Because you are close with that special someone, whether it's an opposite sex friend or a real, like a same sex friend. Because, like, that's a big fear for a lot of people once they get into a relationship. Their best friends are like, am I still going to see that person? Am I still going to hang out with them the same way? Or are they going to spend all their time with their partner now? Yeah. So, it could have been that. Yeah. Because we don't know for sure if it was romantic. If it was romantic jealousy, or if it was just a best friend jealousy.
Yeah. I do think they, though, started to settle. Like, with Sally, like, them fighting and him just being like, I guess.
Well, that's what he confessed to Rosie. Being like, you're just going to settle for somebody who you think is the perfect person, but they'll never compare it to the person that you actually love.
But he was also deflecting, like, when she was talking about it, you know how she was like, you have this perfect life, and they had that big blow up, and he was just like, no, my life's perfect. It's like, you could have just broke up with Sally. Well, I mean, I guess
he thought he had a baby on the way.
But also, you don't have to force yourself into a relationship that's gonna be bad just because you have a child together. Like,
well, if the thing is, when you're in a relationship for as long as they were, because they were in a relationship for 5 years. There's a thing when it comes to people getting married and they're arguing and they're not happy. So why don't they divorce? And the biggest thing is kids. Or I spent all my time in this relationship.
Yeah.
I am 45 years old. If I break up and divorce with them, I have to start brand new as a 45-year-old. And some people can't stomach the thought of doing that. So.
But Alex did have a confession already. He could have just been like, I will take care of our child, but I cannot be in this marriage with you.
To him, he might feel like I'm already committed. If I leave this relationship, I will have to start again, and I don't want to do that. So that's why when he found out that she cheated, that was the catalyst that made him leave. Because it was like the straw that broke the camel's back. It's like all of these things, and now I found out the child isn't even mine. I was going to stay in this relationship because of the child. But now it's not even mine. Why do I even need to stay? So, and a lot of the time, people do stay in either unhealthy relationships or just toxic relationships, or they're just not happy because of children, because they want to have a good, even though it's not true, some families can make it. Some people, it's even more of a toxic child environment for a child.
Yeah.
Some people can make it. But I mean, I come from divorced parents that had a great friendship until my dad remarried and my mom didn't like my stepmom. So that's when it became very toxic, and I was put into the middle of it.
Yeah.
So in those relationships, it's kind of hard because people want what's good for the children, but they don't know how to do that. Because if they break up, what if it's a toxic blow-up breakup? Then the child's going to hurt anymore. If they're still together, the child's still going to hurt. So it's most of the time it's a lose-lose.
Yeah.
So some people just stick it out because they want the child to be raised by two parents, whether it's flawed or not flawed. I mean, some people are really good at co-parenting and really, like, they divorce or they break up and they're really, really good at co-parenting, but some people are horrible at co-parenting, or it's a really, really bad breakup or really bad divorce, so then it's taken out on the children. So it's kind of hard. And even so, it's not a good light to break up with your girlfriend who's pregnant to go date another girl.
Yeah.
Not a good light at all for anyone in that situation. Even if the child really was him, he would be deemed a dickhead.
Too bad he didn't know about the cheating beforehand, because he could have been like, that isn't even my child. And leave me.
Yeah.
But no, he does not know that. Also, why did she cheat with a guy who's so much uglier? No offense.
She liked him.
That act.
I mean, she liked him.
It's just...
I mean, do you think people can't date out of their league?
No, they can, but I'm just like, but Alex is just here and he's wonderful. Come on. Well, we didn't get
He's wonderful in some places.
We get to learn about Greg, though. So. But I'm just like...
You mean Herb?
Herb, yeah.
You call him Greg.
Yeah.
Herb.
Yeah, Herb.
Yeah.
So yes, we need to learn about him.
Yeah, he seemed like a pretentious... Here's the thing.
Pretentious.
He seemed very pretentious, but when you look at Sally, she's fucking pretentious too.
Yeah.
They were made for each other.
That's true.
Obviously, I don't condone cheating, but they were literally made for each other. Whether he was attractive or not, they were perfect. So, I mean...
I wonder how she thought that was going to work out by still just being with Alex, but, like, cheating with Herb. But then they have Like, I wonder what's going on in her brain, like how she was gonna...
She's probably going to play it off that it was Alex's kid.
Yeah. But then she's going to most likely still cheat her, though. Like, that's so weird.
It happens a lot.
No, I'm just like, how are you going to do that, though?
It happens a lot. With cheating partners, they rarely break up because of a kid. Mm-hmm. They don't care. Mm-hmm. Even so, they might even start cheating more if they have a kid.
Yeah. Fascinating.
Because, like, their life is now completely different.
Mm-hmm.
So, whether it's male or female, most of the time, I think the statistics show that men cheat more. But women cheat when they feel like they aren't being, they're not getting the support or what they need in a relationship. That's when they cheat. Well, men cheat because they're thinking of their dick. They don't think about, like, their relationship. Even if it's a happy, really good relationship, they'll cheat because there's a hot lady. Or a hot guy. They're bi. They'll just cheat. But, like, you know, when it's and even so, women cheat because they see a hot dude. Like, it happens. And men cheat because they don't feel like they're getting what they need in the relationship. So, I mean, like, it's either way, but, you know, it's, I think for him, he didn't want to be a cheater. Alex didn't want to be a cheater. So that's why he didn't say anything to Rosie. He didn't even imply anything to Rosie. So, I mean, like, what you gonna do? So, it's like, I think with you, I think you're thinking in the romance, not the realistic romance. You're thinking with the romance of, like, books and movies, being like, just confess, it doesn't matter, break up with them. When in the reality, you got to think about, like, everyone.
Yeah.
Like,
but I think...
even if he did break up with Sally, what is he going to do with his career? He's settling his career in Boston, and she wants to have a hotel in London or in England.
I think he probably was settling with Sally even before she got pregnant. Like, I have a feeling that relationship was probably not good, like, past the, like, first year, because she obviously doesn't like who he is as a person, and when they move in together, she's like, put your, like, dumb poster, like, in the bathroom where no one can see, because I don't like that.
Yeah.
Your dreams are dumb. It's like, do you actually like him?
I think the dream thing was, it was when, that was more 5 months, 5 years ahead, because right after he tells Rosie she supports him, and then he asked her to come to Boston. And then that's when she came.
Knowing how Sally is, I think they probably were not having
I think they were actually a good relationship, because she makes that joke of, oh, this poster belongs in the bathroom, but she never puts it in the bathroom. And it looked like a joke. So I think they had a good relationship until they graduated. Mm-hmm. I think that's when it happens, because that's when they moved into that really fancy apartment, when they got a cleaning lady.
That was that when the poster got moved? Because I swear he went to look at it, and it was, like, in some random abandoned corner because she didn't want it out in the...
No, that's when I think that's when they were moving and they put it into the new apartment.
Yeah. It just looked like she shoved it in a corner, like, get your dumb poster out of here.
No. Or that's when he was moving out.
Yeah.
Because she might have
looked at it like, why is my poster here? At least that's the vibe I got from him, was like, do I really, like...
I don't remember.
Stay with this person? Because, like, here's my poster that I really like, and she obviously doesn't care that I like this thing, and it's just shoved in a corner somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
That's the vibe that I got from Sally, was like, you can, like, as long as you're perfect for me, anything else about you, get out of here. Like, I don't want to hear about your dumbass dreams. Mm-hmm. I don't want to see your dumb posters. Like, did they ever really, like...
I think at the beginning they liked each other.
Yeah. But that could have also just been, like, an attraction. And he was like, well, I'm here, you know? Like, we'll see. But, like, I don't know. Just the way Sally's personality, I feel like most likely she was like that the entire time they were together. Like,
I don't think... I think it's when they graduated she became more pretentious and wanting to be perfect and everything. Because as college students, you don't really care as much.
Yeah.
And when you first meet her, she's not dripping in Gucci. She has a red tank top and shorts on. And she doesn't have any hairpiece. She has minimalist makeup.
I thought she was always
so
rich.
Not...
I thought that was like, she had always been rich. Not that she
there's no evidence behind that.
Built her life and then wanted it.
Well, there's no evidence really behind if she was rich or if they became rich. Because you don't learn that about her at all. And you don't learn that really in general until like they move into and they say they have like a cleaning lady. But that could be because he has a really, really nice job. But, well, yeah.
Get out of here, Sally.
Well, I'm not encouraging the relationship. I think she was very abusive. Yeah. But for him, and in a lot of realistic relationships, you don't know what to do in those situations. Yeah. You don't know. You're like, okay, I can leave, but I'm possibly hurting now my child because I leave. How do I know she's not going to get full custody? She's going to get full. How do I know that I will be able to see my child? Yeah. How do I know that it will be a good co-parenting situation? Yeah. I don't. So people are so scared of the unknown, they don't want to take that jump. And they would rather stick it out and know for sure that they are in their child's life than to leave,
about the
even if they're unhappy.
Alex.
You would have never known.
I wonder how he did find out. Yeah, maybe it's because these movies, like...
It's a realistic love.
It frustrates me. Like, I don't really like edgy romances. They piss me off. Like, I am here to watch, like, something cute. And I feel like I got nothing really cute from it at all until the end. Like, it was always just a struggle. And I was like, I am so... Which is true to real life. But when I'm watching a romance movie... I don't want to watch this.
Have you seen La La Land?
Yeah, you showed me that. I don't.
That's a good movie.
I don't want to rewatch La La Land because
that's on our list.
It's the same thing. For me, if I'm watching like a movie to be like a romantic escape, I prefer them to have more like cuteness. In my personal opinion,
I think this whole movie is basically showing coming of age. Yeah. Because I mean. You've watched coming of age movies, and really liked them. So it's basically, I think we focus so much on the romance aspect. We don't really think about the actual reality behind coming of age movies. Because you see them at 18, she doesn't want a fucking kid. She doesn't want it. She wants to focus only on herself. And then you see over the years, she becomes this very mature woman who wants to focus on their child. And they love their child. And they want to be there. Even when she was a single parent, she's like, I would never trade her for anything. I love her. And I want to stay with her and like everything on this. So I think the beauty behind this movie is not necessarily the romance parts, but just seeing these two people and how they came of age. Yeah. Because Alex doesn't grow out of it. He's having struggles because he's in the aspect of, I need to be in love with someone. Yeah. He's stuck in the mind of, I need a partner. I need a partner. It doesn't matter who the partner is, I need a partner. Well, Rosie, she's the complete opposite. When she had Katie, she didn't want a partner. She didn't want a relationship. She wanted to focus on her child. So they were flipped. And so then finally, at the end, they're now on the same wavelength. Yeah. Alex is finally thinking about himself and what he wants to do. While Rosie is content with her life. Yeah. She's content with being divorced. She's content with her child. She followed her dreams, and now she has a hotel of her own. Yeah. So I think that's why I really like the movie, because you see these different people who are connected in all these ways. For me, it reminds me a lot of the... there's a developmental theory called, something web. Developmental web or something like that. Where there's this theory that we all start at different points of this web. And we go, kind of like a web, we can stem off in different areas but still go back to that one string of web. Mm-hmm. So like for them... They started off, they met on one web string. And then they broke off. They went all these different ways like a spider. And then they come back to that one string of web. And then they leave and then they come back. And so it's a really interesting to, one, rewatch this movie with that theory in my head. Being like, this is like a perfect representation of like people's development even when they're older. Because even though they're going totally different ways, they still are able to meet on that same wavelength and then come back. And then, so, you know, and some people in real life are like that, where there's always that person that they always come back to. And there's people that completely separate and they don't think about that anymore. They don't become friends anymore, or they date and then they're like, never again. And then they lose their friendship. So it's like, I think that's why I really like the movie. It just shows, and I don't like coming of age movies. I fucking hate coming of age movies. I get bored. I don't like it. This is the only one that I truly like, because even though they're meeting at different places, they're meeting at different maturity levels. I think that's what gets me. They're either one person's too mature or one person's not ready.
Yeah.
And so finally at the end, you see them both almost like blossom. Like they're finally mature enough to be honest with each other.
Yeah.
And be able to accept each of them into each other's hearts.
Mm-hmm. See, I think I hold a different opinion because I didn't have any connection to them really, because I felt like even though we see them grow as people, I didn't really get to know much about them, because I think the movie is trying to stuff too much time. I wish there was more time to settle in with them and what they're like, because it was like, Rosie's pregnant, jump, then like he finds Sally, jump, and then they see each other and they have one conversation, and then jump, and then she's with Greg. It felt like a lot of fast moving things, and I was like, I don't have any like connection.
So what do you think would make that,
I think,
connect more?
Cutting some of the, like, if they made more like one situation, like I was thinking this, like, what if it was just the relationship with Sally instead of like them, like she ends up with Greg, he ends up with Sally, and then eventually those relationships end up deteriorating and they like make their way back to each other, instead of being like her being alone, him with Sally, she gets with Greg, he breaks up with Sally, she breaks up with Greg, and then he's with Bethany, and then they finally, like, you know, confess to each other, and then eventually he breaks up with Bethany. It just felt like a lot of fast-moving things where I didn't get a chance to really settle in with them, because I was like, I like Rosie. Like, I see her as a mom, but I wish also I could see her more as a mom and more working towards her dream, because you see her in the, like, hotel, like, 2 times working, and then at the end she gets a hotel. I'm like, I wish I could have seen more of her life being a mom, plus like her working in the hotel and working towards these things that she likes, and then also seeing what his relationship is like with Sally, and then eventually kind of growing once he finds out that Sally cheated, and like seeing him grow more. I wish I had more time just watching them grow instead of it just being like situation. Well,
I think actually those situations are what make them grow. What their relation, because my thing is when Rosie finds out about Sally, like she was trying to be with Alex, but then finds out that he's with Sally. That makes her stop completely and trying.
Yeah.
Because like she thinks they're gonna get married, they're gonna have a kid. Like I can't be like that. I can't do that. And then once she's with Greg, he wants her, but she wants a family. She wants her family unit.
Yeah.
And she thinks she's got it. And so I think the relationship with Bethany, I think that made Rosie, because that's the first time you see Rosie actually go after him. Like, she knows he's in a relationship, but she's like, I need to get there and I need to end the marriage. I need to be with him. And I think that shows being with Greg and realizing, like, this isn't the person that I want. I don't want him. I want Alex. That's who I want. He is my person.
Yeah.
And having that discussion, her and her best friend had a discussion about Titanic. She's like, who do you want Alex to choose on that last lifeboat? Do you want him to choose Bethany or do you want to choose Rosie? You need to make a decision. You need to go after what you want. And I think after that situation, it made her realize, I need to go after what I want in life. And that's when she got the hotel.
Yeah.
That's when she had a discussion with Katie being like, and I think also having her father die, doing something that he loves, made her realize, I need to start thinking about what I want to do. Because that's what my dad said in the letter, was always follow your dreams.
See, that's another issue I had, though. I was like, I don't care about this dad. I've seen him, like, twice in this movie. Like, I didn't feel like a deep connection between them as a family. Like, the cutest thing was with the baby, but other than that, I was like, I forgot dad existed. Like, I don't care about dad.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, you don't need to care about dad. All you need to know is Rosie cares about dad.
Yeah, I would have liked to see more of that, though, to be like, oh, my dad was in this, like, I just wanted more depth with, like, how Rosie thinks. And she's just like, yep, I like my dad, and he told me to live my dreams. It felt kind of cliche, where I'm like, I want to see
I think you were talking during the moment when when she told her parents she wants to go to Boston. Her mom is completely against it.
Yeah.
Her dad says, okay, let's take a walk. So they walk, and I think this is the, like, moment where you were kind of talking, or you're on your phone, because he has a conversation with her, being like, you know, my mom always told me not for the likes of us. That's exactly what he said.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, my mom always said, that's not for the likes of us. We cannot do those things. We cannot follow our dreams. And he was like, I don't want to ever have that voice in your head. If you have that voice, don't have that voice. And so she was like, yeah, but if I go, mom's never going to talk to me. And he was like, well, if you don't go, I'll never talk to you.
Yeah.
So he was pushing, even back then, when she was 18, pushing her to follow her dreams. And then you see him, and he's always wanted to run a hotel. He's talked about that. When he was talking about his mom's voice in his head, he was like, I wanted to either run a hotel, or it was one dream he really, really had. And then you see that he works as a valet in a hotel. He didn't go after his dream. He didn't do what he wanted to do. And you see that Rosie is very connected to that, because she's more impacted of losing her father than her mother. Because when he says, I won't talk to you, she's like shocked. Like, okay, I need to do it then. And that's why she ends up applying. And then when she has the baby, when she has Katie, she is freaking out, being like, this is the end of my life. I'm just going to be a mother. I'm not going to follow my dreams. And he told a story about when, this I know for sure you were talking, because we were talking to each other. He tells a story being like, you know, you might be scared now, but when we had you, I remember you were crying so much and we needed to go to the hospital, and I flew through 3 red lights and got pulled over and had a major ticket. And I think he had a dink on his driving record because of it. He's like, you know, when we have those fears and everything, it clouds our memory, but our lives aren't over. Mm-hmm. We can make it through. And you're the strongest person that I know, so you can make it through. So it shows that her dad is always rooting for her, even though he never got his dreams. Mm-hmm. He always wants Rosie to follow those dreams, even though they might seem ridiculous or her life might seem over because she has a baby. He's like, you can always follow your dreams no matter where you are in life. You can follow them. Yeah. So when he dies, it's not an impactful thing for us. It's an impactful thing for her, because for the first time, her only support is gone, besides Alex. But at that time, her and Alex weren't talking. Her only real support for her dreams died.
Yeah.
And so you see her crying when mom calls and she's freaking out. She doesn't know what's going on. finds out that dad dies and has a letter, and he's saying, like, I never thought I could do this. I never thought I could be in France. I never thought I could reach these dreams. But you inspired me, Rosie, because I want to follow my dreams like you will one day. And I have faith in you. So putting all of this, that inspired her to go after her dreams finally and not put her life on pause working at a hotel, but owning a hotel.
Yeah.
So I think her dad dying was the catalyst on top of not being able to have and having a fire in her from not being able to have Alex for that last time, pushed her finally to follow those dreams.
Yeah.
Because she never thought about it until both those things happened.
Yeah.
And that's what made her finally push after those. Even though she doesn't have a degree, but she has hotel experience, so she kind of knows how to run one. So I think those things would be good to have, but on top of that, it would, one, make the movie so much longer.
Or you could take out some stuff, because that's what I was saying.
If you take out Bethany's, you'll lose the whole aspect of her finally being mature enough to wanting to go after him.
Yeah.
Because in the first time she tried to, she immediately backed off. She didn't even try it ever again and got in that huge argument with him.
Yeah.
This is finally the one time she actually chased him.
Yeah.
When neither of them chased each other.
Mm-hmm. I
think that was showing her maturity.
Yeah.
After all this time, finally realizing he is the one I want to end up with. So, I think if you cut out Bethany's, you cut off all of the maturity she learns.
See, but I feel like we didn't see much of that. Is what I'm, like, in my brain, I'm like, I can't see a whole lot of their development, really, other than being told, like, oh, she started a hotel, she went after him. Like, I wanted to see more of her, like, actually start to, like, think these things, or maybe having, like, more discussions.
She was mature enough to end her relationship with Greg, even though it was not very good, but she wants to keep it because she wants to think of her child. For the first time, she actually thought about herself.
Yeah.
And she deserved more, so she broke up with him in a great punch.
Yeah.
And actually went there instead of just texting him or calling him and breaking it off. She actually went there and broke it off with him in that moment. And that takes a lot of maturity.
Yeah. I was just thinking, like, I wish there was, like, slower times in the movie just to, like, have more discussions instead of it being, like, she has, like, a quick discussion with her best friend and that's all we really get. Like, I wish there were just more time where instead of it being super, like, fast situation and then situation and then situation, that I got to sit down with her more and, like, get more in her brain instead of just the situation showing it. Like, I want to know more about, like, what she's thinking. Is what I was thinking when I was watching. I was like, I feel like I don't really get to know Rosie a whole lot other than, like, I would love to see Rosie, like, being a mom, because I feel like we only get to see Katie for, like, 4, like, scenes. You get to see her grow up. And I
you see all of her growing up. You see, I think focusing on her, I mean, you see her in a lot of the beginning of when she's growing up and everything. And how she, at first, is not I don't want to say not a good mother. She doesn't know how to mother.
Yeah.
And you see, like, she makes a checklist, like, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. So she's making, like, a checklist for herself. And then you see her slowly being able to mother without that checklist, not being able to do that.
Yeah.
So I think, focusing on her growing up with Katie would be nice, but that doesn't attribute to her growing up as a person with Alex.
Yeah.
Her maturing as a mother has no effect with her and Alex.
Yeah. It's just interesting because I was thinking, like, her relationship with Alex feels also kind of like I don't get to know a lot about it other than, like, them always having, like, something in each other's way. Like, wish I would have got more scenes with them maybe as, like, growing up instead of, like, a quick flashback the globe. Like, I don't know. I just wish I got to know.
They did a lot more in the beginning, and she's talking about like the special things between them because she's writing the best man speech basically in her head, and she's like, oh, let's talk about this. Talk about the time on the playgrounds, and then they hold hands when listening to music. She's like, no, let's keep that to ourselves. Mm-hmm. And so you see them growing up and becoming friends and everything. So you know, like, they're best friends. Like, you can equate, like, oh, they were 5 years old. I think they were actually not grade 5. I think they were 5 years old growing up. Like, you obviously know now they're 18 and they're still really close friends going out to party for her birthday. You know, like, okay, they're really close.
Yeah.
Like, you don't just go out with one person on your birthday that isn't your best friend.
Yeah.
You just don't go out with a random guy. Mm-hmm. Or a random person.
I mean, you could, but that'd be
but you don't usually, not for your 18th birthday where you finally drink, you don't really trust them. So you go with the person that you really, really trust.
Yeah.
Like for my 21st, I went with you. So, I mean, you can kind of infer that they're best friends. I think having all that at the beginning, like, it's good, but I don't think it's necessarily needed. Because you see them when they're 5, and then they're still best friends when they're 18. So you kind of, okay, they're best friends. Yeah. So if you show them developing over time, I think it's a little bit more unnecessarily.
Oh, I meant not like friendship, more like her, like, crush on him. Like, I wish I could have seen more of her, like, when did that start to happen other than them being best friends? So I'm like, did she like him when they started to become friends, or did she start to like him as they become friends, or when they got
She
older?
Didn't like him like that.
So I'm just wondering when she started.
When he left.
Yeah.
And she didn't want him to leave. Mm-hmm. And I think maybe when he was with Bethany and she was jealous. But again, we don't know if his best friend or actual relationship jealous. But like you can tell that she's a little jealous that he's with Bethany. Yeah. So that's probably when she started liking him.
But why? I'm wondering. Like, because he's her best friend.
Well, why did you like... Or why did you like your best friends? Because they were your best friend.
Yeah, but I meant, like, why did she start liking him, like, crush-wise? I'm like, is it the best friend thing, or just because he's always there for her? Like, I just wish I got to know more about them deeper, because if it's a coming-of-age story, I just want to spend less time going through, like, at quick situations. Like, I think also there's some, like, montages of, like, oh, like, life with Katie and Greg is great, and then, I don't know, just quick, it felt too quick for me where I didn't get to learn as much, because if it's a thing where you don't need to know a lot about the characters, I'm like, okay, but if it's solely, like, around them, I just want to get to know them more and have more time with them, instead of these, or, like, cut out the working...
It's definitely montage heavy, I will say that.
Cut out the best friend, like, that she meets at the pharmacy place, because, like, we see them, like, so...
Well, that is needed.
It's so quick, though, because, like, I was like, I don't remember that lady being the pharmacy lady. You had to point it out to me. I was like...
Well, I think that's what... You just weren't paying attention.
But you never see them, like, do any best friend thing other than working, like, at the same place.
She was there when Katie was growing up.
Yeah.
She was there with her.
Vaguely, like, you see
But when
her,
well, no, because you see her at the beginning when she gets her pregnancy test. You see her confiding in her.
Yeah.
And then you see her growing up with Katie. And then all the pep talks and everything. I think you just weren't paying attention because she was the only bitch that had red hair. I don't think you were paying it. And then she changed her red hair.
She cut it.
But she was still red.
But that was another thing where I was like,
I think that best friend was needed because when Alex went away, she had nobody. Yeah. And so she relied on the one person that showed her kindness.
Yeah, I just didn't see the best friend connection because I never got to know the best friend other than, that's Katie's best friend. I'm like, okay, why?
Like Toby?
Yeah, why?
You don't need to know about Toby.
Why do well, it'd be nice to see more, like...
Well, it's because Toby and Katie are a reflection of Alex and Rosie as children. They're best friends as children. You see them in early scenes when Katie's young. Yeah. They're being close, and they're still hanging out when she's 12. And then they have an instance that happened between Rosie and Toby.
Not Katie's Fred.
No,
like, the redhead. And, like, they're, like, I don't know, I felt like I didn't know anything about her, and I don't care about her friendship with Rosie at all, because I see them, like, a few times talking to each other, and I forget she exists.
Well, her friendship with the redhead isn't really important.
Yeah, so
it's just a friendship.
Do we have, like, scenes with her? Like, maybe just replace it with, like...
Who would be her best friend, then?
Do, like, her mom instead, where her mom gives her the advice to go for Alex, and then we know mom's there.
I think the issue is... Do you think Rosie, then, as an 18-year-old who's pregnant, would take a pregnancy test with her mom?
No, but also...
So that's why you need another person.
A pharmacy lady who was like, I'll be here, and it's a nice support, but it doesn't mean they need to be friends.
Yeah, but I think having somebody that's outside of her family, it gives her another connection to somebody. Mm-hmm. Because she doesn't have any other friends besides Alex. Alex leaves her.
Yeah.
Why would she become best friends with her mom? Because her mom doesn't care about her dreams. And then dad's going to die in the end anyways. So I think they needed to have another outside source. Yeah. Another wisdom. Almost like somebody who has more wisdom.
Felt random to me. Like, that's what I was thinking. Is like, I don't know her. I don't care what she's doing here. Like, that's my, like, thought process. Like, I want to know more about Rosie. I don't care what this best friend has to say.
But without that best friend, Rosie wouldn't be where she is.
Yeah.
I mean, she was the one that brought up possibly just giving it up for adoption. Rosie didn't even think about that until she brought it up. I think I can't even remember her name, but without her, she would have been lost. And so having another friend being there, you don't need to know her backstory. You don't need to know You know a little bit of her backstory. She only works there because her family owns
and not like
place.
Everything about her, but I want to see more. If she's going to be Rosie's best friend, I want to see them be more best friends than like
the issue behind that is why there's no need, because it's not about her and her best friend.
Cut her out.
Well, without her, she wouldn't have the advice. She wouldn't have that Titanic talk because her family was gone by that time.
Yeah,
she wouldn't have that Titanic talk. She wouldn't have that push to go for Alex. Finally, she was the voice of reason.
Couldn't Rosie be her own voice of reason? Because, like, if it's going to be about Rosie, like, coming of age, shouldn't she... Like, couldn't it have been just Rosie realizing that instead of somebody else having to tell her? And she, like, reflects more on it and goes, oh, yeah, like, this is the time that I can, see him instead of somebody telling her. Because I felt like she's like, do this. And
but Lyrica, how many times have I told you to do something? Like, you should do it. You should go for it. Do you think you would have come to those realizations on your own?
Maybe not.
So those. Sometimes you need somebody to push you into, not push you, but like show you the realization that because she's so jaded. Like she's saying like he's gonna be with her, and she was like, no, you need to listen. You love him. You want him. Why don't you try to do it? Because she was like, I'm so sick of the back and forth myself. Just fucking do it already.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, without her voice of reason, like, I think it's also like a parallel to her dad. Because her dad was dead.
Yeah.
And so it was finally somebody who was stepping into almost that dad role of go for what you want. You need that.
Yeah.
Because after her dad died, she didn't have that anymore.
Yeah.
So having somebody being like that to her, realized she needs to go after what she needs to, like what she wants, and then that's why she ends up with the hotel and trying to be with Alex and everything. Like, even though, like, that they're best friends, they hang out, they talk, they have these deep conversations. It's kind of like with the Alex thing. You didn't need all this drag on with how they became friends and their life as children, growing up, being friends and everything. You only got snippets of that. It's a parallel to now she's feeling those same friendship feelings with this other person that she thought she would lose because she didn't have Alex.
Yeah.
And now she was a mom, but there was somebody who was willing to be there because Alex didn't know and she didn't want him to know and everything.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you could have it without her, but I think without her, you would just have really only Rosie. And like, yeah, that's good, but you also need friends, I think, with people, because we are such social creatures, even if we don't want to be. We mature with other people. Mm-hmm. We mimic with other people. So when one's maturing, the other matures. And if one's maturing faster, then you follow them. Like, you're on the same wavelength almost. So when you're best friends with somebody and you're constantly being with them, like, you grow up together, basically. Even if it's 18 to 30, you still grow up in those times. So without that second person, yeah, she would be figuring stuff out on her own. But you wouldn't have that social aspect. Mm-hmm. You would just see somebody who's lonely, I think. Yeah. You'll see somebody who's only a mom, doesn't have friends. I think having her shows that she's healthy. She's a mother, she works, she has a friend. It shows that when you have a child, you're not just a mother anymore. Yeah. I mean, you're not, like, I think it pigeonholes and says, you're just a mom. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you work, but you're just a mom. You have no friends and everything. And I think it kind of shows, like, yeah, she doesn't have a wide group of friends, but some people don't want a wide group of friends. So I think it also kind of exposes, like, even when you're a mom, you can still have a social life. Yeah. You can still have your social roles. You can still be a best friend. You can still be a worker. You can still be a mother. Yeah. A good mother. Which she is a great mother. So, I mean, like, I think without her, one, you want to get some of the funny things she says. But also you just, to me, I would see it like lonely. Yeah. Like, she has nobody now.
I guess in
she only had her mom and her dad.
Personal opinion, I just would rather more time with Rosie than this best friend. Like, in my mind, I feel like I would have been more connected with Rosie if, like, I got to see more of her, and I don't know how they would do that, but I just wish I knew more. Like, I would love to, like, see her, like, you know, more scenes of her being a mom and, like, how that changed her and impacted her and how she saw, you know, Alex and her daughter, like, you know, more, like, seeing Rosie. Yeah. I guess
I think that would just take I don't think it takes too much. I think it takes too much of the romance aspect. Mm-hmm. Because then it's just coming of age. So just fucking cut out Alex altogether. So, yeah, that could work as a movie on its own.
Yeah, I guess maybe that's where I'm coming from, is, like, I didn't really see much of, like, the romance where I was like, I'm not really into this romance, but, like, I don't get enough of Rosie's. Or maybe I'm just, like, I want them to be separate in my mind. I'm like, I want to know more about Rosie. Like, I want Rosie's story. Maybe they should have made two. It's Rosie's story, and then her with her story with Alex. It's Rosie's, like, entire story, and you kind of see Alex in the first movie, but then you see them, like, more. Or, I don't know. I just wish...
Do you have that same gripe with La La Land? Because you don't really see their relationship develop?
La La Land I don't remember much of. But I feel like I remember La La Land having a little bit more, like, where I got to know them, at least.
You got to know them separately a little bit. Separately. But their relationship you don't know much about.
Yeah, but, like, with this one, I feel like I didn't get to learn enough that I wanted to about the characters or their relationship. It was, like, I wish there was some way that I could mesh them together, but I don't know how to do that.
I think for me with this movie, I think it's just the right amount for me, because if it was like that, if it was, like, all about her being a mom in one aspect, and it's not like a cat and mouse kind of game, I would get bored. Yeah. I would be like, I don't give a fuck what she's doing as a mom. Because here's the thing, I don't fucking care about me being a mom, so I don't care about her being a mom. Or if it was drawn out about them growing up together, I would be like, why? I don't care about them being friends, because I know they're friends.
And you like quick movies.
I don't like quick movies. I like long movies.
See, they could have pushed it 2 hours, and I would have been like...
It was about 2 hours. It was 1:45. Yeah. 15 more minutes will help out, like, how to be a mom.
Well, also 10 minutes gets relegated to credits usually.
Okay, so 25 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you can do a lot in 25 minutes in a movie.
Yeah, but I think then it drags out. Because, like, I like long movies if there's stuff going on. Like, her being a mom, like, what more can you show about her becoming a mom? You show her dealing with her having colic.
Yeah.
Colic. I'm saying it right. Colic. You show her learning how to properly feed, how to burp. Don't do these things. Don't feed in public because it makes people fall off bikes. You show her trying to get a job while having a baby because she's bringing her baby to job interviews.
I think that stuff was more montagey.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And that's when
you learn those things.
You
just
learn
from a
them,
montage.
but it's just like, here, look, this, and I'm like,
how would you want to show her?
I want to see more interactions with Katie. I think, like, I want to see them like
how,
like having more conversations. Like, I feel like I get to hear like Katie be an annoying like tween, and then the only time I really remember them ever having a conversation was about like her going for her dreams, and I'm like, I never got to see her relationship. But the issue is,
her being a mother isn't a big part of the story.
Yeah.
I mean, it is because it shows her growing over, but her having a child, the only thing that it brings to the table is her secret with Alex and why she can't go to Boston.
Yeah.
That's really it.
And Greg.
But that's about it.
If there's no kid, don't ever take Greg back.
Yeah.
If there's no kid, throw Greg. We don't need him ever again.
So, I mean, like, there's not, like, a reason to have that, I think. Because if you have that, then you're like, but why do I need that? Because it's about her and Alex. It's not about her and Katie.
Yeah.
And then Alex is a forethought. Because it's a romance movie. So it wouldn't be... It's a romance movie.
Yeah, but I don't... My personal opinion, I don't feel the romance between them until the very end. Like...
Well, no, it's a cat and mouse romance.
Yeah, which is not my thing. Because so I think that's why I'm like, I don't...
Because it's like, well, they love each other, but they're meeting each other at the wrong time. It's a romance movie.
Yeah, it's a romance movie. It's just not one that I...
It's not a lovey-dovey, they're together for the whole time. And no, it's showing the realities of love doesn't always come at the right time.
Yeah.
And it doesn't come with the right people. But eventually, it's a happy story where eventually they are able to meet at that one point. It's about missing those points, but it's happy because they finally find that one point to land on with each other. While if it was reality, it would end like La La Land, where they never end up together.
Yeah.
So I think La La Land is the exact opposite of Love, Rosie, where they meet each other and they're great and they end it and they're gone. Well, with Love, Rosie, they're complete opposites. They can't meet and everything. And so, I mean, if you didn't have those missing points, I think the ending wouldn't be as satisfying. Like, they finally made it together. And I think if you just had one missing point, it'd be like, well, okay, they're together now. Woo. If you have 3 missing points, that's when it's like, get together for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
And then they finally do, and you're like, yes, you said something.
See that, but also for me personally, I just kind of didn't care about their romance because I didn't get enough of that feeling because I was like, they got together and I was like, ooh. I wasn't like, I didn't get the release that you get because I didn't feel connected to their romance, I guess, like, or like.
I think it's just, you might have not watched it.
No,
we were talking like a good point, like good, like 15 minutes we were talking.
But I feel like I'd always feel like this because I just don't, like, it's not my movie. Like, Bodies was not your movie. This is not, like, my movie. Like, I don't connect with it the same way that you do.
I think we just have very different reactions with love.
Yeah.
I think with mine, I like more realistic. Like, it happens. This happens in the real world. It's great. And it still ends on a happy note.
Which I like hearing real stories like this. It's when I want an escape is when I don't want it. Like, I like the things where, like, people, you know, they met and then, like, things...
You didn't like La La Land, and that's realistic.
Well, I meant, like, real-life stories. Like, if somebody was telling me a story about how they met their soulmate...
Oh, like a movie.
Like, if I was, like, you know, sitting and talking with a real person, and like, yeah, me and my husband, we had all these things where, you know, we were best friends. Like, those in real life. But if I'm watching a movie, I like the more escapism, I guess. Is where I come with my romances, which is why I tend to like teen romances, because they're a little bit more like less serious and like more like my escapism romance. So that's where I'm coming from. But I like them in real life.
I'm the complete opposite, because I don't like escaping until romance. Because I was taught at a young age, that's not love. Yeah. Don't rely on that, because that is not love. That's not what really happens. So when I watch romance movies like that, like, my brain always goes like, that's not going to happen. That's not real. Yeah. Well, I think it's because it's so far-fetched that it doesn't help me escape. It helps me realize, like, that's never going to happen. Like, that's why I like Duff. Duff is pretty realistic. The Duff. Or The Notebook. That could be pretty realistic. Or Love, Rosie, or La La Land. Those things are a lot more realistic. It's grounded in, like, this is what could happen in real life. If it's something like, what's a really lovey-dovey romance that you like? Or just a romance movie that helps you escape?
What is a romance movie?
And don't say Twilight.
No, not Twilight. I liked Twilight when I was in middle school. But, like, when I watch that now, it's more like nostalgia. I'm not like, yeah!
It's like cringe. It's like a hate watch. Like, you hate and you love it.
Yeah, in 6th grade, though, I was like, oh my god, they're so cute. But now, I'm just like, I like to watch it.
You love to hate it now.
Jeez, I can't think, because I guess all of the romance movies I really watch are ones that I have nostalgia for, and so they're not, like...
Well, name one.
Like, any... Well, I can't think. It's like any... Maybe I'm thinking more in books is where I've had a lot of my, like, escapism romance where, like...
If this was in book form, would you like it?
Book form? No, because I don't like realism books. I only...
Well, why do you like it then only when it's told to you, but not when it's read? Or we'll just do read.
I guess because it's like, oh, that's cute in real life. But, like, when I'm watching the movie, I just don't...
No, not movie. If it was a book version.
Yeah.
What's the difference between somebody telling you the story and you reading the story?
Like... Oh, like...
Like, if I was Rosie and I told you my story, but I wrote a book about it, why would you not read the book, but you would be okay if I told you it?
Yeah, like a memoir. Okay. Like,
well, if it was... Well, even if it was, like, 2 different people in real life telling you the story that's like Love, Rosie, and then Love, Rosie is an actual book. Is it based off a book? I don't know. If Love, Rosie is a book and you read it, you don't like the book version, but you like it when people tell you a story like it.
Yeah, I'm thinking because it's, like, actual, like, human, like... connection. Like, if I'm just reading a memoir, I don't like memoirs. I get bored. Like,
it's not a memoir.
And if it's realistic fiction, also I get bored because if I'm going to read something, like, I want it to be like my like escapism thing. But if I'm talking to a person in real life, I'm not gonna be like, give me your like make me like escape with your story. I'm gonna be like, oh, I'm having like this conversation with you and like that's really cute, but, like, when I'm going, like, for personal, like, entertainment, then that's not what I'm gonna...
What if Love, Rosie had all the things that you liked and want to improve was in book form, then? Still wouldn't read it?
Books,
but if it was a movie,
it'd
be fine.
Yeah. Oh. Just because books take a lot longer as well to read. Like,
I'm going to give you a realistic love fiction
You're
book.
with books for, like, if the book's long, you're, like, with it for hours. Where a movie, you're there for an hour and a half or 2 hours. Like, I'm not gonna be like sitting there for 9 hours. Like,
What if it's a short book? I have a book. Okay, she can get behind there. She can get electrocuted. What? Okay, I'm gonna give you a realistic romance book, and you're gonna read it. Oh, hold on. I'm gonna move her.
what are you thinking?
Get down.
I've never once seen you think you could go up there. I don't.
It's probably open in the back.
Yeah,
I
think
have
it
a
was.
book.
She probably would have.
Yeah, I don't even want to think about it. I have a realistic romance book I want to give you, but it's gay. It's called Lab Partners. It's okay. I liked it. It was cute. It's realistic, but it's gay. You love it.
Maybe I'll
It's
like
really-
it because I like Love Simon, which I don't know if
It's
I would have.
on a book.
Yeah.
It's a book. It was based off a book.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, Love Simon was a book. It was called something different though. It was like Simon versus the Homo sapiens or something like that.
Nice.
It had the word Homo sapien in it. I remember that, but they changed it because that's microphone. It was like a long title that wasn't snappy and catchy. Like if you're making a movie name, you kind of don't want to be like, oh, Simon and the blah 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 blah. And you're like. Love Simon rolls off the tongue so much easier, okay?
I'm gonna go through my little library and see what books to give you.
Maybe Love Simon is one where it's not like very realistic, but it's
realistic.
yeah.
It's a coming of age movie.
Yeah, it's a coming of age movie, but it's kind of really fluffy like romance, which is what I like. Like you have like conflicts, but it's nothing like super like.
So have you seen 5 Feet Apart?
No, I haven't.
Oh, we should add that to the list.
I feel like that one's sad though, isn't it?
Very. It's by the same person who did John Green. I think it's a John Green book. I don't remember. Don't quote me on that. So you don't like Fall in Our Stars?
Well, The Fault in Our Stars is my
movie. You like the movie?
Yeah.
But that's realistic romance.
Yeah. I think maybe
You like it with tragedy.
it's also teens where I don't know, I tend to like teen
Okay, so you like
that sounds
realistic teen romance books.
Yeah.
So you like I'm trying to pinpoint. So you like teen realistic romance.
Yeah.
But you don't like
every now and again because the only one I can really think of I've liked has been The Fault in Our Stars, where I like so many more books that have romance but supernatural elements or dystopian elements or fantasy elements. The Fault in Our Stars is the only one that I can.
Have you read any other John Green book?
I tried to read Paper Towns. I don't like that book, and I don't like that movie.
I've never seen the movie, but I've heard mixed reactions with the movie.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Stargirl is not John Green. Stargirl is something else.
Now, I haven't read any.
You don't know Stargirl?
No.
There's a TV show or movie with Stargirl being, who's that? She was on America's Got Talent. She was a singer with the little kid with the ukulele. She got, I think, the Golden Buzzer. Or she went really far. I think she might have won and got in second place. She plays Stargirl. It's a TV show or movie. I think it's a movie. But that's a book series. And so a lot of people like it. It's it's romance. But I actually don't really like The Fault in Our Stars. I got bored. Because it was just kids dying. Fun.
Yeah.
I don't want people reminded of kids dying.
That's
but that's also because I knew they were never going to be together, so I was like,
that's my sad movie. I will do more romance things if I want to cry. I really, if I need to cry, I go to watch The Fault
in Our Stars.
But it's not my movie that I watch to be yay, happy entertainment romance. That's my crying romance. I have my separate ones. I have my crying romance movies, and then I got happy ones. I think Love John, trash movie, but if I want to cry, I'm going to watch Love John, even though
I don't know what that is.
It's Nicholas Sparks and how there's the joke about Nicholas Sparks books because they're very like soapy like romance.
Mm-hmm.
If they're sad, I'm there for it. Dear John is basically
Oh, you said Love John, and I was like, what's Love John?
Dear John.
Dear John. Okay, I know.
If
Dear
I
John.
want to cry, I'm watching Dear John, even though that romance doesn't get me, but the sadness does. Like, if I want to cry, I'm gonna.
Do you like the Hannah Montana movie?
The Hannah Montana movie?
Yeah. That's realistic fiction.
I like Hannah.
And romance.
I like Hannah Montana, but also music.
So we just need to find you a realistic romance movie that's for teens. That's Hannah Montana.
Yeah!
The Hannah Montana movie.
Hannah Montana's my golden movie. Favorite movie of all time, Hannah Montana the movie.
Beautiful.
Love it. No, that's when I watch when I just want to watch some mindless, like, fluffy. Like.
See, fluffy movies just make me gag.
I love
I don't think there's one truly.
Oh my god, Go-Go. Why do you always do this when we're recording?
I don't smell yet. Is it really that bad? I can't smell it.
Yeah, from here, I think, because the letterbox is like this direction. She always wants to poop when we're recording, and I always smell it. Oh.
But, I'm trying to think of any, like, fluffy romance movies that I really like.
I'm literally dying.
I guess. Oh, there it goes. Now I can smell it. Okay, I think the only.
It smells a lot better. My shirt.
I think the only, like, really fluffy movie I would like is The Notebook. But that's because that's really fucking sweet. That makes me happy.
I need to watch The Notebook again because I remember not liking The Notebook the first time I saw it.
What?
Yeah, I know it's classic romance. But I remember watching it and being like, it's okay, but I didn't, like, have a lot of...
How old?
I watched it with you, like...
What?
2 years ago.
And you didn't really care? Are you thinking of Me Before You?
No, we watched The Notebook.
Because I remember watching Me Before You, and you're like...
Yeah,
Me Before You is a realistic romance I love.
The Notebook, because you had me guess, like, what...
Oh, and I lied about the characters. Yeah. I remember now.
I was like, I know this is everybody's favorite, but for me, I was just like, shoulder shrug. I need to watch it again because I haven't.
What is it? I can't really think of any like fluffy movies I like, just to feel good. Because in my head, I'm like, I'm never gonna have that. I'm not even gonna pretend like I can. I can't even think of romance books like that. I guess Warm Bodies.
That's what I was thinking. Warm Bodies are like, that's fluffy, but also there's zombies
so
running around.
Unrealistic. So I can't even. I'm trying to think of fluffy romance. I guess Lab Partners, but I haven't read that. I only bought it and read it once.
See, I love Warm Bodies.
Hold on.
It's my perfect match. I like when it has romance, but also some kind of element going on. Maybe that's what I usually don't like. I don't like romances that are usually just romance, I think. I like something else happening unless it's in teen form. Because that's my favorite, like, romance.
Why do you only like teen, then? That's the question.
It's, like, more simple, I guess. But, like, book-wise, I will not read a romance teen book. Like, I like something else going on. Like, world-ending shit, like... there's a war with, like, supernatural beings.
I think I'm the same way. I can't read just romance to be romance.
Yeah.
Like, Nicholas Sparks, never will read it.
Yeah.
Because that's on my go-to. But I don't like romance in books, really, in general. I like just plain... When you do that, you kind of look like your nose looks like Bart Simpson's nose. It looks like
she
just...
took a big, big S as my middle sibling would say.
Okay.
Because she can't cuss, so she just says the first letter of that's S. That's BS. Yeah. Does she just say that's B? No, she just says that's S.
Oh. She doesn't even say the bull part?
No.
Oh, okay. That's shit.
Yeah. But yeah, see, I like romance in my books. I get like, I try to read books that don't have romance in them, and then I'm like, even if it's like...
You should read Feed. Oh, that has romance in it.
I've read Feed.
You've read Feed?
Yeah, in my young adult literature class.
Oh, I didn't know you read Feed. I'm going to give you a book.
I'm going to give you
that has no romance in it. But Harry Potter. Done. The first 3 Harry Potter books, no romance.
I'm not reading 3 books for you.
No, I mean, you can read the first one.
I was going to say...
I'm just saying the first three don't really have romance in it, I don't think.
Yeah.
And then, man, I can't think of any, but I know for a fact I have non-romance. I mean, if you want to read a scary book, I have one from 6th grade called Deep and Dark and Dangerous.
I've never read a scary book other than Goosebumps. I've never read...
Like a kid's scary book.
Yeah, I've never read anything outside of Goosebumps.
Like horror in general?
Yeah, book-wise. I've never...
Whoa, hey, whoa.
I know.
I read Carrie by Stephen King. It's not that scary.
I've never read one.
I need to get Carrie again. That was a good book, though. I have Shining. I have Deep and Dark and Dangerous, which is a kid scary book. But it's not really scary. You should read that book. That's a really good book. I still have it. I have my 6th grade copy if you would like. And then I have...
It lingers for me. I
can't smell it anymore.
I have such a sensitive nose, I can smell everything.
Are you flexing your nose now?
Yeah, well, I have sensitive everything, so.
Mm-hmm.
Sensitive eyes, sensitive ears, sensitive nose, sensitive bowels, sensitive
Jesus.
back, sensitive shoulder.
I have a sensitive sinus system.
Sensitive head, or constantly have headaches.
Sensitive brain.
I'm just falling apart.
I have a sensitive sinus cavity because it gets infected really easily. And now I have sensitive eyes. I can't swim in a swimming pool unless I have goggles now. Because the chlorine affects my nose and my eyes really badly.
I love swimming, but I never wear goggles.
I like goggles because I like looking under
I do not, because they squeeze my head and I don't like the feeling.
Well, loosen them then.
But still, I don't like the
feeling. You need to loosen them.
Wrapped around my head.
Just get non-wrap goggles. They just suction cup.
You just glue them to your face.
Suction cup. Don't glue it.
They'll never come off. Adhesive.
Oh my god. No, I'm still thinking of books right now. I'm trying to think of a romance book, non-romance book that I have.
I have some, actually. But I try to read and then I don't.
I have nonfiction books if you would like. Hey, but they're really good. They're about serial killers.
I don't like nonfiction books.
But it's about serial killers.
I'm also not a true crime person.
You need to get into true... Here's the thing. Here's the fucking
if it's an unsolved mystery,
here's the fucking tea. America loves horror movies, but doesn't like true crime. It's real life horror.
But also, real life horror be big sad, and I don't like.
Just just do what I do on I can never say that word.
You think me?
How do you say that word?
Compartmentalize. You think I can do that?
You could do it with horror movies.
Yeah,
just pretend that
they're not real.
No. Just pretend that the true crime video or book you're reading is fake. It's a movie. It's a non-fiction. It's a fiction. It's a non-fiction. It's a fiction book. That's why it helps me. Is I just try and analyze it like it's a book or it's like a movie.
True crime also just kind of bores me because I don't like detective stuff, like them talking about police stuff.
You're hurting my heart.
I like unsolved mysteries because there's a sense of mystery that keeps me going, and I'll listen to them try to figure it out. But I'm if it's something solved, I don't really.
Have you seen the TV show Castle?
No.
I should show you Castle.
I feel like maybe
it's a detective.
Probably won't like it because
it's comedy though.
Learned as I've got older, I don't particularly like case shows. I used to really like Criminal Minds, but now I'm I like things that have a big storyline that's
Castle has that.
But if it's a case to case thing, which is why when I rewatch Supernatural, actually I used to love Supernatural, but now when I watch it, I like the episodes where they're based on the story, but when we go back into a monster of the week thing, I get bored because I like overarching. I like things with stories more than cases.
What if it's it has a case, but there's an it's case, but there's a story behind throughout the whole season.
I mean, but there's still cases, and I get bored with cases.
But they're interesting cases. You find them in funny places.
Like,
there's a girl that was in the first season where she's dead, but she's hanging off of a fire escape stairwell thing, and the bottom is that ladder. She's like hanging off of that. Physics, that doesn't work, bitch. But it's like that. And it's based off of a music video she did. I should just make you watch just one episode of Castle. It's really good. The last seasons are a lot better, but like it's really, I mean, there's like an overarching case of like her mom was murdered. Mm-hmm. So she's trying to figure out who like killed her mom and everything. And it's this huge conspiracy behind the scenes. It's very interesting. Or like, you should just watch one episode.
I'll watch one, but
the pilot is hilarious.
I'm going to tell you I probably won't.
You could just laugh at her haircut then.
Yeah,
she looks funny.
Yeah, I just don't like, procedural is the word I was thinking of. Like, there's a case, and then you solve it. Like,
what if it's a comedy? Or, like, it has funny parts?
Because, like, I watched Caitlin's favorite show, Psych, and I was like, the comedy's funny, but when we start doing case stuff, I'm bored again, and I don't care.
Okay. What if I have another one in my bank of true crime? What if? Have you ever seen iZombie?
Yeah, I used to like iZombie, but
that's such a good TV show.
I never finished it. I want to go back and rewatch it, but...
Can we watch it together? I want to watch it with you.
Knowing myself, though, I'm probably going to get bored with the cases again. Because, like, I've been rewatching Supernatural.
Yeah.
And I'm, like, the monster of the week, I like if they're, like... There's some that I really like just because they're funny, like... Mm-hmm. But other than that, I really enjoy the storylines. Like, that's why season 5... Like, I love season 5 because most of the cases are revolving around the big story of the apocalypse.
I just stumped the fuck out of my toe.
I was like, I thought you really had something to say.
It just really hurt, and I try not yelling.
Yeah, so... But then once I get into cases, then I'm like...
Yeah, but it's a zombie. And how they do it is really interesting.
Supernatural's also monsters of the week, and I'm still like, I want to get back to the story.
Monsters of the week.
Well, that's how...
I know, it's just fun. It's like employee of the month, but it's monster of the
that's
week.
Originally what they planned on doing for the show was it was just going to be monsters of the week, and the only connecting thing, because it was going to be an anthology show where it's different, but the TV network was like, we need something more.
They're probably running out of.
So that's when they made them decided brothers, and then it was just going to be like, oh, they're brothers, but there's no big storyline happening. They're just going on cases, and then the first episode, like, they were like, we need more of them because they liked the brothers so much that it became about them also.
Yeah. And you know what?
I read the whole Supernatural Wikipedia page when I was bored at work. So now I know a lot.
You know, I'm actually the opposite of you in that. I hate TV shows that just drag it for a whole season. That's why I'm hit or miss with K-dramas. If there's that's why I like K-drama BLs. Because it's 8 episodes, 20-minute long, you're in and you're out. And you're done. Sometimes they're 30, sometimes they're 40, but you're like done. It's like a movie. You're no more seasons, you're done. While with Supernatural, I tuned out. I was like, this is 16 episodes of them chasing the one fucking thing. Just chase it down in 3. I don't need 16. The 24.
You got 22.
And
all
the 22.
Seasons are 22.
Yeah, but well, yeah, the some of them were shorter. That's why I like the it's one and done in one episode. Because it feels like a movie and you're done. And then next movie you're done. Because my issue with when you're 22 episodes and you have the one fucking storyline. That's why I don't like Vampire Diaries either. That's why I watched it and I was like, okay, cool, first season. Second season came and I stopped halfway. It's because it's basically the same thing for 22 episodes. I'm like, oh.
See, for me, that's
same with The Walking Dead.
I like storylines that, like, things are happening and there's, like, end, like a villain or something like that. Like, I love those. I don't like one and done things. Like, I guess I just like stories. Like, Criminal Minds, I know they have the sort of, like, thing with,
they have an overarching that's throughout the whole season, but then they're episode by episode. And then sometimes there's part 1, part 2.
Don't care anymore about these cases. Especially if you're binge watching, I'm like, so many cases.
I just listen to those when I'm working.
Anymore. Like, that's how I feel with Supernatural with the monsters. I'm like, I don't care anymore. I want to go back to the storyline that's happening.
See, I like overarching. The thing is, if it's just purely episode, different things happening, like The Office or Parks and Rec, can't do that.
Like a sitcom?
Yeah, no, because I love Friends. The thing is, what Friends has is they have an overarching for the season. Usually, sometimes it's half season, sometimes it's full season, but they have some kind of arching that goes over a couple episodes, but then each one's periodic. Like, each one is one little thing. So that's what I like, because then there is an overarching kind of thing going on. They're all connected in this way, so that's why you need to watch it in this order. But there's something different, and I think it's because my brain is wired in a different thing. I might have ADHD. I can't hold on to 22 episodes of one thing going on. The only true TV show I like that does that is a K-drama, and it's Crash Landing on You. That's because I love the couple. That's literally it. I don't think I like any other thing that Supernatural, I like until up to season 10. Then I checked out season 10. I just wanted to know who God was, and then I was done.
Do get kind of draggy once. Like, I think 1 through 5 best arc because they actually had a plan. Like, it was supposed to stop after season 5, and then once you get past that, things start getting a little like.
Yeah.
They're trying to search for what they want to do, where, like, you have the...
I did, like, 6, 7, and 8. I think those were really good for me.
I like 7
but 9 and 10, I was checked out.
The Leviathans. 8, though, I hate 8. I don't want to watch 8 again. I remember...
The Leviathans are so cool!
Yeah, that's season 7.
Oh, I thought you said the Leviathans was season 8.
No.
What's season 8?
Season 8 is the... something, like, Purgatory? Yeah, it's Purgatory.
I love Purgatory. That one's good, too.
I watched in real time, and I was like, I am bored. Every episode, I was like, I'm bored. So that's why I'm not looking forward to rewatching season 8, because it's just so
I'll watch season 8 with you. I love season 8.
To me.
I think, season 8 is when he comes back from Purgatory, right?
Dean?
Or is it when he's going through Purgatory?
I think season 8 is when they find... Purgatory,
or is that Sam?
Season 7 is they defeat the Leviathans, but I don't think Dean goes to Purgatory yet. I can't remember. I think season 8 is they're searching for Purgatory. Then season 9, Dean gets out. I can't remember.
I got it. I'll look it up.
That's how much.
The one where Sam is soulless.
Season 6.
I like that one too. That one's good.
I like Solo Sam because 8. I love chaos.
Season 8, Supernatural, Super Nanny. No. Okay, here we go. I'm trying to remember. Okay, season 8 right here. This is unedited, bitch. Let's go. Where's your villain? Where is your
It might
villain?
also be the Falling of the Angels, but that might be season 9 because they start getting undistinct.
Oh no, yep. Dean escapes Purgatory. So this is all about him coping with being in Purgatory.
So that must happen at the end
because
of
Benny
7.
He got help from Benny.
Which I like Benny, but oh my god, I don't like season 8.
Yeah. I like season 8 because the idea of Purgatory was interesting to me.
Okay. Anyways, do we have more about the movie? Because we're, again, rambling, and we're getting to,
Well, we talked a lot about this movie.
2 hours and 30 minutes, so I'm wondering if we want to...
We're not
wrap up
yet.
soon.
Yeah, I still gotta do homework.
Yeah. And I need to be in bed by 9, because I have not gone to bed on time, and I'm so freaking exhausted.
Okay, so, well, we know one thing you want to change about it. What's the one thing you liked?
I like Rosie. like I said, I wanted to know more about her.
Mm-hmm.
So I think out of all the characters, she was the one person that even though I wanted to know more, I was like, I really like Rosie. Like, I like the idea of her being a mom, and that's why I wanted to see more of that because I like that. And yeah, I liked Rosie as a character. She was my fave, and I found myself rooting for her in whatever she was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Where Alex, I was like, he's okay. What is?
Oh, she's laying on Ella.
Good job, Go-Go. Tormentor, like you always.
Let me separate them. Hey, stop laying on her.
She literally just like
was laying on her and like biting her neck. She was trying to play.
Go-Go. I mean, Ella's like.
Please stop.
I like how Ella though is like, I'm not gonna do anything about this. I'm just gonna yell about it.
I'm gonna just scream. I'm gonna be dramatic until somebody takes this bitch off.
Yeah.
So
funny. Also, I like Rosie. Lily Collins as well. Like, I like seeing her in things, even though I've only seen her in a handful of things. I'm like, yeah, Lily Collins.
We'll see her again in To the Bone. I have that movie too on the list.
I always remember that she got casted as Clary in the horrible.
I know what you're talking
Mortal
about.
Instruments movie, but I was like, too bad. No, she wasn't Clary.
Mm-hmm.
She was. Okay, I got her confused with the Clary from the TV show. I was like, wait, was that her? No. Yeah, Lily Collins was like, if they made those movies better, and then like just get rid of everybody else and make the movies better and keep Lily Collins, will be good. But that movie is.
I've never seen the movie.
It's like,
but I know
as a lover of the books, it's not good. But also objectively, as a movie, it is not good, and everyone like did not like the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know one person who's like, yeah, I like the Mortal Instruments movie. If you're out there, tell me. Because why?
I bet I wouldn't mind it. I don't have any connection to the book, though.
Yeah. It's kind of just what they did.
Lyrica, this is not a podcast about that movie.
Well, real quick, what they did is they just tried to shove... It's like Avatar, The Last Airbender. They tried to shove too many elements from all the books in one movie, and it just becomes...
it's probably because they knew they weren't going to make
like
a second one.
Yeah.
They're like, we're not going to be making a second one. My positive is I like... I love realistic love. So, I liked it. I liked the aspect of the realistic love and cat and mouse kind of thing. The thing I wish they improved probably was, I agree. I think they should have maybe had more dad in it. I think having more dad would make more of a connection to dad. But other than that, I think it was pretty okay. Okay to have dad not really be there. But, yeah. I would say more dad would be good, but other than that, it's a perfect fucking movie.
Maybe I just like...
I'll die on that hill.
Familial relationships, because I'm like, I want to see more of her.
Well, that's because of you.
More of her being a mom.
That's because that's you personally. You're more familial with your family, while I'm not. Yeah. Like, I love my family, but I'm not super close to them like you are. So that's why I don't really see the... But I would like to see dad a little bit more with more support. But even if it wasn't that, if not that, then I would say I wish we had more of a, I would say I wish we had a little bit more insight into Sally and him. Just a little bit more to see what like the actual relationship. Because when I first watched the movie and she freaked out, I was like, okay, it's pregnancy hormones. But now looking at it, I was like, okay, but is she actually really abusive? Is she an abusive partner? So I wish we had a little bit more insight into that. And I wish we had a little bit more Alex. It was primarily in Rosie's eye. I wish we had more Alex.
Yeah, that's why I was like...
Alex's eye.
I don't really... Like, Alex is there, but I like felt more of a connection with Rosie. But I guess it was
from her eye.
Story, but also Alex felt like more of the character where... I didn't feel like I got to see enough of him to really even, like, get... I didn't view him, like, how you view him, like his like his trajectory. Like I didn't get that enough because I felt like I didn't really know him enough to put those.
I think if they made
together.
it more equal and not solely based on Rosie, I would have liked it. But then they would have had to cut a lot more of Rosie's story out of it. So it's kind of a tit for tat. Would you like to see less Rosie and more Alex and have it more equal? Or would you want just all about Rosie, but then you lose Alex? So it's kind of like, I would rather them be a little bit more equal than solely on Rosie. Because I would be okay with losing the montage about like her becoming a mother. Yeah. I would lose that to get more of Alex.
Yeah. I could also like the hotel thing. Like I get that's her dream, but that's something that I could have done without, just because you see her working at a hotel cleaning, you see her get the hotel at the end, and her dad, and she wanted to go to college for it, but I didn't really feel a whole lot of passion like toward like behind it. Like I didn't see where her passion was coming from, other than her dad was interested in it, and they're like, "Yep, that's her dream." And I'm like, I don't.
Well, she said it to her dad, like, "I want to run a hotel." Is that crazy? And then he went on to that whole spiel of not in the likes of us and everything.
Yeah. That's why I was like, so, I think I could lose that because
I could not lose that end scene, because you see her. How I see is when she was 18, she had the baby, and she's like, "My life is over." And then you see her finally getting her dream, doing what she wants to do in life. So I think losing that, you lose any triumph on her end.
Yeah, well, for me, I also feel like she didn't really earn it, I think, is why there's no payoff for the hotel. Because her dad died, which is sad, but she got money to then open the hotel. So, like, I didn't really, other than her working at a hotel and her, like, cleaning it, I didn't see her really working for that dream.
I mean, she worked at a hotel for 15 years.
Yeah, but we only got to see, like, her
trying to
be there twice. I'm like, I don't really see her passion for the hotel other than her cleaning and be like, someday I'm going to get a hotel. I'm like, I don't care. Like, I don't care about the hotel.
Yeah. I think if you cut that out, I mean, you cut out her whole drive.
But I didn't see it as a drive, is where I'm coming from.
Well, then, okay.
Yeah.
If you cut out her whole dream, if you cut that all out, why does she want to go to college in Boston with Alex? Why is her dad pushing her to go follow a dream? What would her dad even tell her about? They would lose all the conversations with dad, lose all the kind of development of her growing up. You would lose all of that. You would have somebody who has no dream.
Yeah, which I guess it can be her dream. I just didn't feel any passion behind it. I was like, I don't care about what her dream is. Like, her dream felt like on the back burner in the entire movie, like,
because it is.
Yeah,
she's a newly mom,
so therefore
and she doesn't have the money for it.
About it, I was like, cool, she got a hotel, but I wasn't like, yeah, Rosie, you followed your dream. I was like, I don't care about this.
I think for me, it was seeing a woman who was 18, became a mother.
Yeah,
and I think it instills passion in me. If I was 18 and I had a child and thinking my life is over, I'm going to work at McDonald's my entire life. I'm going to have no chance of going after my dreams. I think it's influential for people who feel like they can't make it to their dream, and showing like you can be in the lowest part of what you think is your lowest part, but still be able to make it and have the power and drive to do it. Yeah, she didn't earn it because of the money, but like she could have used that money for anything.
Yeah.
But instead she chose to follow her dream with that money.
Yeah.
She didn't choose it to travel. She didn't choose it to spend it all on her by shopping or getting a luxury car. She did it to do something that career-wise she knew she never would be able to without that money.
Yeah. For me, like, it was a moot point. Like the way you describe it makes it like seem like it was triumphant for her, but I just didn't feel that. Like, I was like, it didn't hold anything, because I feel like it was more like...
Then how do you think it should have ended then, if she didn't get a hotel?
Well, because like I think what the main part of the movie is supposed to be is her and Alex, so like they could have just ended up meeting each other, like was like they end up, making their way back to each other because they finally had the room to do so, but like it didn't have to be at a hotel she manages. It could have just been like, what if she finally
she didn't manage, she owned
what
that
if
bitch.
she finally moved to, Boston with him, and like, I don't know, maybe she then decided she wanted to go to college or something. Like, I didn't see a reason for the hotel, honestly. Yeah. It just felt like she had a dream.
I think if it ended in that way, it would have just been mute. It would have been like, okay, so she has no drive. She has no drive to do anything.
Well, her drive could have been like to finally go to college or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, being like, oh, as a teen mom, I couldn't do this, but now I can, and I can move, and Alex can, he has his job still, and like, we finally made our way back to each other. I just, like, I didn't see the passion behind her dream, is like where I'm coming from. Which is why I want to know more about Rosie. Actually, get rid of Alex's point of view. I don't need it anymore. I want Rosie. That's my point of view. I want more Rosie.
Yeah. I think if you get rid of the ending with the hotel, you just get rid of, like, all of her as a person, because that was what her dream was.
See, but that was, like, where I'm not, like, connecting to that, because I didn't see that as her dream. I was like,
she was willing to move to a different country to get the education to run a hotel.
Yeah, but, like, that kind of just seemed...
She was, no, because I wouldn't fucking move to England, even though they have the best psychology. I want to move there, even though I'm very dedicated to psychology. I want to move to a different country at all.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, I don't see the passion behind it. I was like, I don't care about this hotel. And I don't care what she's doing for her job. I just found myself not caring about these things because I don't care more about her. Like, I don't care about the hotel stuff.
Well, that is her. That's a part of her. It's her dream.
Throughout the movie, though, like, it gets brought up, like, sparsely. Like, it's not, like... Because you don't see her really doing much other than, oh, she worked at the hotel, and see, here she is cleaning, and she was here for 10 years. I'm like, okay, like, it kind of just seemed as, like,
well, it shows that she's still working at it.
Yeah, but
even
on,
though
like,
she doesn't have the education.
Burner, like, the movie's not about her dream as
well, that's why they put it at the end, because it wasn't like, would it be better if she did it in the middle? In the middle of the movie? Like the thing is, like, okay, if they took out all of the stuff about the dream, then what would her drive be as a person? What would her reasoning behind doing anything be?
Well, it can be to give her daughter the best life that she can. Like, maybe.
Yeah, but here's the thing: if they introduce, I'm saying, like, if they introduce, oh, I want to go to college, I want to run a hotel at the beginning, but it then never comes back in the end, then it's like, okay, then why do we even care about her going to college then? Or in the end, if she does go back to college, being like, okay, I get that, but there's no, like, I think for me, there's, like, if they do that, then it's like, it's no, like satisfaction.
Yeah.
Because it brings it all around, I think. Yeah. So that's why I like it. It brings it all around in a nice little bow, and it's done.
And that's where I'm missing, is I don't have that satisfaction, because the movie didn't seem to be about her dream. It seemed to be about her and Alex, is like what the main focal point was to me.
And I think that hotel brings Alex there, because he wouldn't have gone back to England for any reason. But he finds out that she achieved her dream, and so he wants to go to support her. So that's the reason why he came back. Because what would bring them back? That's the thing.
Well, it could have just been the fact that they're now both in a place that they can be with each other.
But she didn't know that. She didn't know he was divorced. He knew that.
Well, they could have, randomly, like, ran into each other.
He lives in Boston.
Yeah. Well, maybe...
The thing is, he lives in Boston and she lives in England.
Maybe he moved back, though, because he was like, I thought I wanted this big shot life as a doctor over here in Boston, but now I see, it doesn't... This isn't what I really want. I want to have that relationship with Rosie. Like, this is the one thing that kept driving me, like, to choose these women because I needed to forget her, you know?
And I think they did that with the hotel thing. Like, that's why he came there to finally be with her. But I think if they just met on the street, it wouldn't be like this beautiful thing. It'd be like, oh, they're just meeting and now they're together. It wouldn't be like yes, they're finally together kind of thing.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be like a cute gesture. It would be like they met on the street. Like that's almost too realistic then for me. Like they met on the street. Oh, he's divorced. Let's give this a shot. Like it doesn't, I think it's not a satisfying ending. Yeah. If they just met on the street and we're like, ooh, because this is huge, big gesture. And then they're also doing this cute little banter being like, any baggage? And he's like, no, I left it all behind.
Yeah. Maybe
so
it's just
that conversation wouldn't have really happened.
I didn't find any satisfaction in them getting together anyway. So, like,
you already hear Lyrica does not stand for women who own their own companies. She doesn't give a fuck about your dreams.
I do. I think the thing is I didn't care much for their relationship is where I'm coming from. So that big satisfaction at the end wasn't satisfaction to me like it was for you because I found myself caring more about Rosie. And I know it's not, that would be a different movie, but that's just like where I'm coming from is like, I like, you know, Rosie more than I care about her romance, I guess.
Hey, good news. This is totally off topic. They're on single days tickets on sale for Breakaway Festival, so it's almost ready for the 2-day sale. Super excited. And they're doing installments now.
Oh, thank God. So, we didn't wait long enough.
Yeah, so we just need to wait a little bit longer for the 2-day. We're going to a festival, and we're waiting for the tickets to go on sale. Yes. And to break into 2 installments.
Gotta wait for that good, sweet time. But yeah, so that's just where I was coming from. But I know that would be a completely different movie.
Yeah.
They should have a spin-off about Rosie.
Honestly, I think they should have shown Alex more. Maybe make it a little bit longer and have Alex in there. Keep all the elements they have now, but have more Alex.
Well, maybe in my mind, if I did have more Alex, maybe because then he's more fleshed out in my mind, then I would have a little bit more connection to their romance. Because I think that was where my disconnect is. I'm like, I don't really care all that much about what Alex is doing. I care what Rosie's doing. So therefore, their romance, I don't care.
You have to care about what Rosie's doing. You don't care about her hotel. That's a beautiful hotel.
I mean, I care about like her like finding somebody, but I just don't feel the passion for the romance.
For Alex.
Yeah.
They did have tidbits of Alex, but I wish it was a little bit more. Instead of like he put the key on the thing and he's leaving kind of thing. A little bit more.
I mean, the thing with the nursery, that was sweet, and I feel like I got to learn more about him, but yeah, other than that, I felt kind of lost with Alex. I was like, he's out there doing something, but I don't know. I feel like I
don't even know what his job is.
Yeah, I don't know much about him.
Yeah, so. I know it's medical field, and he was talking about thoracic surgery, but that's about it.
Probably a surgeon.
Maybe wanting to be a surgeon, most likely. But yeah. Well, we hit the 2:30 mark.
Yay! It's always gonna happen.
Woo! All right. But yeah, those are my negatives and positives. You got yours. So perfect. So we can do the sign off. We'll see you in the next episode.
Yeah.
Where we'll watch a movie.
Which we have not decided yet.
Nope. All right. Go ahead. Do the sign off.
Oh yeah. I was like, what is it? Dopey and Edward.
Go watch Friends. The TV show, not your actual friends.
Or you could, but that's stalking, so don't do that.
Or if you want to, sure.
You might get arrested. And they might not be your friends no more, but you can sure try. Okay. If you so wish.
All right, cut. You need to make a funny noise now.